Mongolian beef. It is off the chain.
Oh, I don't
It's
taste
crispy. Dude, it's fantastic. That shit is fantastic.
You have no idea how much of a smile that puts my face.
Oh, I do.
What the hell is going on here? Why are you not there and staticky and strange? And what's going on? There he is. That was weird.
All right. Can you hear me well?
Now you're crystal clear. Now you sound good.
All right. Let me get these super chats, and then I'm gonna introduce tonight's special guest. We got Saturn Video with a $5 super chat. The Butterman and CHH have officially gone cosmic. They're powerful enough to close the tank portal for good. Will the apes retaliate? That's the best super chat we've gotten from Saturn Video so far.
That's a script right there.
Oh my God, that was incredible. Thank you so much, Saturn Video. And then we got Alexis Har with $1.99. Thank you so much, girl. New intro, consider my lunch tray flipped. That's amazing. Thank you so much, girl. I appreciate that. Garrett is not the special guest tonight. As soon as he's settled, I'm gonna bring him in. This is gonna be fun. Mid-level media, Christian's Red and I will be all Fat Seagal films. Thanks for spoiling it, you bitch. Damn you, Ken. All right, guys. So without further ado, we're talking about our childhoods tonight. We're talking about the Rad 9 films.
That's
films that were special and made us part of our DNAs as kids, right, Brandon?
That's right.
So who better to have on the show with me than somebody that can not only validate my stories but add to them? My brother, Trey, is officially on the show. Everybody welcome Trey to the show.
Glad to be here.
We're glad to have you, dude. All right. So Trey, if I know we didn't talk about this much, but this is perfect because it's not something I want you to think about. But what we're doing is it's called the Rad 9 Movie Challenge. And obviously you're not going to have a list, but you grew up with me. So the movies I have in my list, you can add to, or stuff that you think about, or another movie, bring it up with us. But what this is 9 movies that are basically DNA films for us as kids. Stuff that stuck with us, stuff that was important to us during that time. And that's what we're going to be doing today. And it's no genre. Just so, and I tell people this all the time, Trey. I didn't grow up a horror fanatic, and a lot of people did, especially in like the YouTube horror community world. But for me and you, we really didn't. Like we saw some stuff, but it wasn't until I tell the story all the time. Like it was like my senior year of high school, your freshman year of college is where I really got addicted to this whole stuff. But you can attest to people. I was not a horror fanatic as a kid. I just didn't watch much of it, really at all. Just the typical stuff you'd go see with your friends when a big movie came out. But I wasn't, we weren't going ham as kids on horror. So a lot of my Rad 9 is not horror stuff. So that's where we're at. But Brandon, like with you, was it a mixed genre, or was it a lot of one genre, specifically comedies or anything like that? Or
you know me, I've been watching horror since I was a young kid. But most of my list for this specific list is mostly non-horror. There's a couple horrors on there, especially in my like honorable mentions, which we'll get to later. But there might only be 1 or 2 horrors in my actual top 9. So it was a very interesting pick. Very difficult decision. So
hell yeah. So we're going to get started. We've got a lot of people in the chat. Thank you. Please drop a like. Everybody's welcome. And my brother Trey. Oh, first timer, sup Trey. The tray has been flipped to Trey. Scratch Burno. The man, the myth, the legend, Trey. Welcome, Trey. What's up, Trey? How's the weather? They say it's gonna be hotter like yesterday. Trey, it's a meme. Do you remember that Sears commercial back in the day? I'll play it later after the show goes off.
I didn't even know Sears had commercials.
Yes, back in the day. This is years ago.
Right.
So Really quick before we get this show started, Trey, can you give the? Do you know it? Do you remember what's this in reference to? Can we get Trace out of the Friday the 13th 3D Tall Boy story? Do you remember?
I mean, my version of it's actually pretty concise and short. It may have been like one of the first beers I ever bought. I think I was 21, or maybe like 20. I can't remember. But I remember having, it was an Old English 40 ounce, and I like chugged it, and put on the 3D glasses, watched Jason 3D, and had like an outer body experience, and eventually just had to vomit.
I've told that story and people loved it, and I was like, no, he threw up. But it was an Old English, and we went to the Hood. We went to the Hood grocery store in town.
It's in the middle of nowhere, I think.
Yeah, that's where you get the cheap beer, Brandon. In Florida, every grocery store is the Hood grocery store.
Oh yeah, we had a couple iconic corner stores growing up. Yeah, yes sir.
Alexis says we've all been there. Old English 40. Can I get a thumbs up in the chat for Old English 40s?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, another thing real quick, Trey, because again, you're somewhat of a legend because I tell these stories. Does Trey still call it Jason Goes Straight to Hell?
I don't know the other name for that movie.
I was just saying, I don't think Trey's ever called it Jason Goes to Hell. So the story of that was, just really quick, it was like 2010. It was summertime, so you hadn't started school yet, and we were just chilling. This is when me and Trey would go to the gym. We'd go to Anytime Fitness at 10:30. We'd work out for like 2 hours, just burning. Then we'd come home and just slam pizzas and tacos. And,
hell yeah!
And
just undo all the work you just did. I love it. That's called recycling, boys. That's called recycling right there.
We used to call it. We used to go to this Mexican restaurant, and Trey got this burrito. When I tell you, this burrito was the size of a brick, a fucking brick. We used to call it the negate because whatever work you did that day to burn it, if you ate it, it just negated everything.
Oh yeah, sounds delicious to me, man.
But yeah, so guys, we'll get through some more stories. I want to get started because we've got a lot of stuff to talk about. The Rad 9, starting with 9 movies that made our childhood. Brandon, how about we start with you on your first of the Rad 9, and let's get it going.
My first option, it's actually 2 films, but I'm going to count them as 2. Or it's 2 films, but I'm going to count them as 1 because they sort of go hand in hand. Obviously, it's Wayne's World 1 and 2. Iconic pieces of nostalgia, pieces of childhood right here. These movies aren't just movies to me. They're a whole culture unto themselves. You know, it's like that movie Point Break. It's just the cult followings are bigger than the movies themselves. And like every shred of Wayne's World 1 and 2 are a part of my DNA. You know what I mean? It's just,
so which one's better?
I think, I mean, I love Wayne's World 2, but I think Wayne's World 1 is slightly better, more well-made, and a little bit more coherent. As far as the soundtrack goes, though, I don't know, man. Like, they both have pretty killer soundtracks.
I think 1 is the clear winner to me.
Part 1 has the Cooper song, and, you know, Part 2 has the Aerosmith live versions of those 2 songs, So
do you remember all the Saturday Night Live stuff that they did? And do you remember when Aerosmith was on and they performed the Wayne's World song on there?
Oh yeah.
I think Steven Tyler had he was just covered in leopard or something. Like he had like a leopard pants on or something.
Yeah. I think it was like the yellow and black leopard print thing.
Yeah. Yeah. It's funny talking about Saturday Night Live. That was a time. And me and Trey used to watch. Trey, do you remember we used to have the Chris Farley Best of SNL DVDs? And we would watch. Let me not get off topic too quick, but of course, Saturday Night Live is the creation the creation for Wayne's World, right. And this was an era where segments would turn into classic fucking movies. Mm-hmm. I think one of the last classic SNL skits. Correct me if I'm wrong. Was Corky Romano a skit that turned into a movie for Saturday Night Live, or am I wrong?
I'm not sure.
Regardless. This was during an era where Saturday Night Live was creating classic movies, and wasn't
Stewart Saves His Family an SNL movie or no?
That I don't know. Yeah. I wanted to say Corky Romano was a skit, but I can't remember now. But
I don't know.
If it was, it might have been a small thing. But Chris Kattan was super popular on SNL for a while. But
I think it's the best era, dude. The early '90s to the mid '90s was the best era of SNL. Chris Farley, Mike Myers, Davis, everybody. I know it's blasphemous to a lot of people, but the 90s was it had.
Oh,
it.
no. I totally agree, because me and Trey used to go to Blockbuster and we would rent the best of SNL DVD. And when I say we would be pissing and just crying at the same time, we'd have water coming up the top and the bottom of us when on the Chris Farley SNL DVD. And he's like, "Excuse me, sir, do you know that you're not drinking regular coffee but decaffeinated coffee crystals?"
Yeah, we used to reenact when that one word for word.
You son of a
Hell yeah.
bitch. You lied to me. And he beats the shit out of the guy.
And it takes
Oh,
like 6
man,
hits
that's
with a
good
cast
stuff.
iron pan to bring Chris Farley down.
Yeah, they've got him strapped by
He's
both
just
arms.
screaming.
Oh, and the grandma's the one. You remember he takes the pie and he launches it, and the waiter ducks, and then the grandma gets creamed with that fucking pie. Oh man, yeah, that's we need to do a show. I don't whether we do a big collab show, we get a bunch of our friends on the best of Saturday Night Live, and we talk about the best performers, the best skits. That would be a hell of a show. But dude, yeah, Wayne's World 1 and 2. I never saw Wayne's World 2 till I was older. Wayne's World 1,
Damn.
I'm sure I was really, really little when I saw that. But now here's the second question.
Yeah.
Wayne or Garth? To me, there's only
For
one.
me, it's Wayne. It's
You're
Garth
wrong.
for you, isn't it?
Dana
Oh, it's
Carvey
Wayne?
is the king. Yeah,
Yeah,
Wayne.
that's Garth.
Excuse me, I had him backwards. Yes, Wayne. All day. I'm such a. Dana Carvey is the man, and he's like, to me, Dana Carvey was the '90s Dan Aykroyd. He was like the genius that comes up with everything, but you didn't know about it until other actors started talking about it.
Right.
And I didn't know that. I didn't know that Dana created the Dr. Evil character.
Yeah, Myers sort of stole it a little bit, didn't he?
Yeah, he talked about that on Howard Stern. So
I'm just pissed off that we got Bill and Ted 3, but there's still no Wayne's World 3. Like, make it happen.
it'll happen. It'll happen.
I hope so. I really hope so.
All right, Brandon. So is that your number 1 or number 9? Is there no order for you?
I don't have an order. I don't really have an order. If I did, that would probably be number 1. So I already killed my best, I guess.
That's fine.
So I'm just gonna go out of order.
All right. Most of mine are Laserdiscs picks tonight because I owned them on late. Not that I had them when I was a kid. So number 9 for me, I'll go 9 to 1. And again, no order like you, because I mean they're all part of our DNA. Number 9, we used to keep the VHS in. There was a time where me and Trey shared a bedroom, and we used to keep the VHS in our entertainment center that was built like shit. So eventually it started leaning into itself because the screws were getting weak. But in the small cabinet, we had Street Fighter, the VHS Street Fighter. And when I say I wore the piss out of the VHS tape for Street Fighter, we used to watch it, I mean, literally on repeat, 6-7 times a day. We'd have sleepovers, and our buddies would come over, and we were taking karate at the time. Gene Evans karate. I am a black belt. As a matter of fact, I'm legitimately a black belt in Wateroo, which, come to find out, is a bullshit daycare karate course. So it's not real. But yeah, so we used to watch. There was a time in the late 90s where, kind of like in the late 80s, where karate got really big again. So my parents bought us the Street Fighter VHS, and we would watch that shit on repeat. I used to think it was Wolverine that Ryu would fight, because I didn't know the difference between Wolverine. I didn't know who Vega was. You just see the guy with the claw hand,
right?
And I don't know. As a kid, man, we watched the shit out of that, and it was always all about General Bison, Raul Julia, or Julia. How do you say it?
It's Julia. Yeah.
The funniest shit when he's like, "We'll want to make the food court much bigger because all the big." He's talking about dominating the world, but he's like, "We'll want to make the food court bigger because all the major franchises will want it." And so, oh man, and you don't realize how many stars were in that movie at the time. So you get older and you say, "That's Leatherface that was playing Zangief."
Right.
That's Miguel Nunez from Return of the Living Dead.
Yep.
And Friday
Insane.
5.
Right.
Playing DJ. Just incredible. Quick, change the channel. Quick, change the channel. Yeah, Street Fighter. Yeah. It's not my favorite Van Damme movie, but like this is literally my life in 2000, 2001. I mean, just wore the piss out of this thing.
Yeah.
So, yeah, got much love for Street Fighter, and you gotta love Colonel Guile with a fucking French accent.
Oh yeah. Oh
Captain, it's Captain America. He's fucking Captain America.
yeah. Oh yeah.
He can barely speak English. It's fucking ridiculous. But that's it. That's my number 9. I mean, Trey, if you have any memories of us watching Street Fighter, please feel free to share away or whatever you might remember of that. But
The best quote at the end of the movie.
what was that again? Remind me.
The next Bison wannabe.
The next Bison wannabe is gonna fill it.
Fill it.
Yeah. Oh man, and it's so funny. It's so funny how shitty the script is for this movie, and nothing makes sense because Chun-Li is like, you know, he destroyed my family's village, and then Colonel Guile, you think he's gonna be the voice of reason, and he's like, this war is not about your own personal vendetta. You think he's gonna be like, it's about the sake of humanity, but he goes, it's not about your own personal vendetta. It's about mine. It's like, what the fuck, dude? Where's the morality in any of this? It's all just personal beef with everything. Great fucking movie. The rumor has it that Van Damme was doing piles of cocaine a week during this time. Just piles of it. Cost $1,000. He would only be able to film for like 3 hours a day because other than that, he'd be completely incoherent. But he was still working out like 7 hours a day.
I hope he was, man.
He was doing cocaine, like lifting for 6-7 hours, and he could shoot for 30 minutes. And then he would just die. So I forgot. I read an article on the making of this movie, and it was just fucking crazy. So I'll shut up about it. But number 9 is Street Fighter 1994.
That's a great choice.
Where are we going, Brandon?
Is it back to me? Okay, I'm gonna go with
Trey. If Trey has memories of these movies, he'll chime in.
Okay,
but I didn't give enough time to make a list.
My next choice is a 2-for-1 again because it sort of counts as one thing in my opinion. So it's sort of cheating, but staples. Addams Family 1 and Values. Absolute
Very nice.
culture kings right here. I mean, this is burned into my DNA. Maybe even, well, I wouldn't say more than Wayne's World, but on that same level. These movies are absolutely intoxicating, infinitely quotable, well acted, and I don't think you're ever going to top that version of The Family. You know what I mean? By the way, these are unopened VHS, and this is this one's the McDonald's version right here.
The Mickey D.
Isn't that insane?
Wait, you got the McAdams Family.
Crazy.
Dude, I love the McAdams Family. Trey, I really don't think me or you saw those movies as kids. At least I can't remember. I feel like I didn't watch those till I was an adult.
I saw some of the shows, but yeah.
Yeah. We might have saw pieces of it, but and I gotta say it, I'm sick and tired of people trying to act like Addams Family Values is better than Addams Family. Like y'all got to stop with that bullshit.
I think
Addams Family is perfect.
The first one is great. They're both masterpieces, but I think the first one's better than the second one. But I think people say that because the second one is technically closer in line with the tone of the TV show. That's why.
Fair enough, but I mean, you gotta love the first one. The first one is all Christopher Lloyd, and I love it.
Yeah, he is stunning as Fester, man. He rages hard in that movie. I love it. It's fantastic. Yeah, Garrett, you're right. It is the first one. My mistake.
So what was McDonald's doing back in the day? They were just making VHS tapes.
I don't know, because I vividly remember these films when they were, hot topics at the time. I don't remember this being at McDonald's, and I don't remember there being like toys or anything. But somebody in the comment, correct me if I'm wrong. Were there like toy tie-ins? Because I don't remember any of that stuff.
They did a lot of shit back then.
Yeah. I remember the Halloween buckets at the time, but not toys for Addams Family. So
more of a Munsters guy. Hell yeah, brother. Rob Zombie. All right, let's go next. Let me get this one out the way. I just got this Blu-ray today, so I don't know how well Trey remembers this, but when we were kids, our parents used to they would keep cardboard boxes under their bed full of VHS tapes, and it was home movies and shit like that. And I used to always grab the Major League VHS tape as a kid and watch this. And this image of the baseball with the sunglasses is so burned in my brain.
Mhm.
I'll never get over it. I love this movie. I'll always say this is the best baseball movie, best cast. I'm sorry, you Sandlotters. I love Sandlot, but for me, it's Major League. And yeah, I mean, just everything about this movie, I think, is fucking hysterical. It's top to bottom. And I like Tom Berenger a lot. I actually started seeking out some more of his movies that he did. I think he's actually a really great actor. But you know, I really need to get. I see Garrett actually just say the poster art is amazing. I need to get this poster of Major League. So, yeah. But we used to have, Mom and Dad used to literally have they would keep their VHS tape. They had a little shelf on side of their TV that had like the Titanic VHS. Everybody had that double pack, and we had Nightmare Before Christmas. But for some reason, Major League was under the bed. I don't know why. And we had family tapes under there. But I remember Ninja Turtles was under there. Major League was under there. So that's so much a part of my childhood. I fucking love it. Major League's my favorite movie. Major League is in my top 20 favorite movies of all time. All genres. Mix them together.
Yeah, not a bad choice at all.
Oh, excuse me. CHH, you need that Major League logo as a tattoo? Fuck yeah.
Yeah.
I need to because I've got some shitty tattoos. Trey's got a bunch of tattoos. He's got Trey, don't you have Reptile from Mortal Kombat? I thought that was, what is that? That's not Reptile?
That would have been sweet though.
It's a Bosk from Star Wars.
Show the audience.
You can see it. Let's see. Right there.
Oh, nice.
I always thought that was Reptile from Mortal Kombat 9.
Wow.
No.
CR says, didn't you used to play baseball when you were younger? Did this movie influence you to play it at all? I'm sure it did. I used to play. We had Little League that wasn't school related. It was literally like town related stuff. And we had 3 teams. Trey played with me, but I think Trey kind of got out of it a little earlier than I did. I really loved sports before Katrina. I was a sports guy before Katrina. Trey can attest this as well. But let me finish this. Yes, I played baseball. There was the Cardinals. There was the Giants as kids. And then there were the Braves. And me and Trey lived in a part of Miro that if you wanted to play ball, you would play for the Braves. And so we were Braves kids, and we wore blue uniforms and stuff. And there was a time right before Katrina, like 2 years before Katrina, I was playing soccer. And Trey used to come to some of my games. I was fucking ruthless. I beat the piss out of kids when we were playing soccer. I used to do this technique when if the forward was getting ready to like try to line drive the ball into the goal. I didn't play goalie. I played forward too. If a kid was getting ready to try to do like a line drive hit, I would get right in front of the ball and turn my ass to him, and the ball would just smack me in the back of the ass, and it would hit them back in the face. My ass could just absorb the ball like nothing. I was a brute. I used to knock kids over in soccer.
That's awesome.
But those were good times. Those were good times. So Major League, number 9 for me. We'll carry on, Brandon.
Awesome. That was number 8 for
That
you,
was number
wasn't it?
8 for me. Number 8 for me. Yeah.
So I'm on 7 now, correct? 7.
Yes, sir.
I think for 7, and this is sort of a hard choice, but I was conflicted, but then I decided it's probably in that top 9 of movies that made me. And that's, I think it's 94's Homeward Bound, The Adventure Home.
Me and Trey saw that in the theater. We saw that in the theater.
Yes,
No, we saw the sequel. We didn't see Homeward Bound. We saw the sequel. And I vividly remember Michael J. Fox talking as like a fucking dog or something.
Yeah, right. There was Michael J. Fox as the dog, Sally Field as the cat, and I forgot the old guy who plays the dog, but he's the old guy. He's one of the 2 rich guys from Trading Places, the dude with the mustache. It's that dude. I'm pretty sure it was that guy. I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure it was him.
I'll look up the cast later.
Anyways, fantastic movie. Absolutely burned into my DNA. I think this came out in either 93 or 94. I remember this movie being a huge deal when I was in school. Funny, family oriented, made you tear up a little bit towards the end. Just good stuff. Good, wholesome, Disney wholesome before Disney became sort of not wholesome. So absolutely dig this movie. Number 7 for me.
Yeah. We used to watch those movies all the time, and we used to watch I almost grabbed it, but like it's kind of sad, so I didn't want to talk about them. Same thing, like All Dogs Go to Heaven. I almost grabbed my Laserdisc for that. But even as a kid, something about those movies, I didn't want to watch them that much because it was just sad.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
They're
They're great.
Elements. Yeah.
Yeah. They're great.
Especially All Dogs Go to Heaven was a pretty, stressfully sad movie. So
Trey always wanted to make a movie called All Dogs Go to Hell. Go straight to hell. Oh, shit. All right, where are we going next? All right. This one's going to be cool. So this movie is, if you grew up as a kid during this time, you could not escape it. It literally was the culture. Now it has a bad reputation, and it's pretty low on everybody's ranking of these films. But Trey can attest. In 1999, we were all on board for Star Wars Episode 1. All day. We fucking loved it. By the way, this is a Japanese Laserdisc because this Laserdisc was dead in America. So I imported a Japanese Episode 1 Laserdisc. And Trey, you remember just as much as me the best part about this was the video games. And you used to play Pod Racer.
Power Battles.
Jedi Power Battles, but you played Pod Racer.
Episode 1 Racer for N64.
We had it for Dreamcast because we were smart kids.
That was a great game.
And you remember, Brandon, I think I told you this. For some reason, my dad, he liked Sega. So like he got me a Saturn when I didn't even know what the hell it was. And I remember he got me Mr. Bones, which is this really cool game, and WWF In Your House. And then he got us a Dreamcast in 1999. And so like we were getting Tony Hawk's Pro Skater I've bought a lot of those games, dude. At the time, Dreamcast, nobody could touch it because it literally had the catalog for games like 64 and PlayStation, but the Dreamcast had the best graphics at the time, all that. So we used to play this game, Pod Racer, on Sega Dreamcast, and Trey was the kind of gamer, he just would not fucking stop until he perfected the game. And I don't know how he did it, but when he was playing Pod Racer, Trey, you tell him, because like literally, if you even make a small error, you're going 190 miles an hour in those damn things. And what's the name of that character, that sick little bastard that was Sebulba. He would throw rocks in one of those little, I don't remember. But Trey, you tell him, because we used to play all those games.
The Dreamcast was a great system. The headline Sonic game, Sonic Adventure, was probably the one I burned the most time on. And remember there was a game called Power Stone. We played the hell out of that game.
Power battle fighting game.
Yeah, it was like a 3D, like kind of almost like a platforming fighting game. It was really cool.
Incredible.
Yeah. I had the Dreamcast. I still have a bunch of games on the shelf over there from it. I had the Kiss game.
Very
weird game. No, it was the Kiss. It was based on the comic book. What is it called? It's like the Dark One or something like that. It was sort of a weird dark medieval game kind of thing. Very strange.
And Trey, do you remember WWF Royal Rumble for Sega Dreamcast?
Yeah, that was
it's kind of shitty.
A very strange game to play.
It was kind of shitty.
It was like the Attitude game, but it was just the controls were clunky.
But the interesting thing about that game, if you can remember, I think it was the last WWF game to feature Ministry Undertaker, because it came out in early 2000. So Undertaker wasn't even in WWF at the time. He was on hiatus, and he came back as the Limp Bizkit denim Undertaker, with Roland. But in that game, it was the very last game to feature him as the Ministry Taker, which was arguably the coolest. Like that was like the evil Undertaker, when he had like the Big Boss Man and APA like doing all his bidding for him, where Undertaker didn't even do shit. He'd walk out with big viscera, that 600-pound fucking behemoth. But yeah, we used to play all that shit, man. And I could do it. Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I was gonna say I could do a whole episode just on Sega Dreamcast of the crazy, awesome games we played on there. But yeah, there was a crazy reason why I wanted the Dreamcast specifically before I got one finally, and it was because at the time I was still under the impression that Castlevania Resurrection was coming out on the Dreamcast exclusively. Do you remember that game? No, I've never played it. I've never. Did it not happen or?
It never happened. It got canceled, and apparently it was canceled well before Dreamcast actually hit shelves, and I wasn't aware of that. So I still thought it was coming out when I got the system, and then it kind of helped fucking ruin the whole
Well, you know what?
experience of it thereafter.
They say, and Trey might be able to remember this better than me, but they say what really killed the Sega Dreamcast was pirating. Not necessarily that Sega bit off. Not necessarily that Sega were losing in sales. I think the Dreamcast actually sold pretty damn well. But Trey, do you remember if something happened where they didn't have a piracy protection on their game, so people could literally burn CDs or whatever and burn games and literally pirate the games and not even have to buy them?
Yeah, because it was probably the first gaming platform where you had like a physical hard drive space on there that you could store a lot of stuff. And yeah, I mean, people took advantage of that.
Mm-hmm. I think that was what killed it.
I had a thing from Electronics Boutique for my PlayStation that allowed you to play burned PlayStation CDs on it and play the game. There was like a weird spring in it and like a thing that clipped on the back. It was very strange. It was the same piece of equipment that lets you play like Japanese games on the system. It was very weird. But I remember having burned games on CDs and stuff, and they worked.
That's cool looking back, but it's just like you almost kind of wish. I do kind of wish that Sega had, and then I'll shut up about it, but I do kind of wish Sega had kept going because, dude, when you look back, pound for pound, the Dreamcast is one of the greatest systems ever. It was doing online in 1999. You could do online gameplay. They were doing extremely futuristic in terms of today's world, what people like, games like Shenmue, these incredible adventure, almost reality-based games where you can like create your own stories and stuff. Sonic Adventure was one of the greatest Sonic games ever made.
Best Sonic game.
It's incredible. Dude, it's crazy because at that time, me and Trey had it as kids, and I would go to school, and people would come to our house just to play the Dreamcast. It was incredible because nobody had it. We were the only ones that had it. All right, I'll go next. So Brandon, that was your number 7. My number 7. My number 7. This is actually a horror title. Trey can attest to this as well. So our grandma, we call her Mimi, she took us to the rental store one time and she bought the double pack of it. Nice. She was a big Stephen King fan. And when I say we watched this every freaking Monday or Wednesday throughout the week, all the time, I'm saying we have it burned. It's burned in our memory. Religiously watched it. And what I love about this is this has the artwork of the original VHS double pack, not that crappy white one where it's like him kind of ripping through like the wall. This is the original artwork with the alien hand coming out the sewer and everything. So I love this Laserdisc release. And I mean, Trey, what do you remember about that from when we were little?
I just remember, I mean, obviously you remember the movie, but I remember more how sick the like just those cardboard cutouts were of like some of those horror movie like ads. Like the It one was really cool. You know, like I'm talking about, like the little stand-up things you would see. Like it was almost like yeah, almost like when you went to a video store, like the horror section was like, it was like decorated.
Yeah, that which is basically what a lot of us horror fans like try to like look at Brandon's wall next to him. Like that's kind of like what we try to.
Yeah.
I'm convinced, Trey, that we are trying to recreate video stores in our homes, especially as horror fans. I feel like that's what we're trying to do.
Yeah, but the marketing, the physical marketing was just awesome for it.
Yeah, it was incredible. But yeah, we used to watch it all the time, and we would always watch part 1 more than part 2. I mean, Trey, what do you remember about the big spider at the end of part 2? Because a lot of people say like they kind of don't like it, but did you have a feeling about it one way or the other? Do you think it was lackluster compared to Pennywise, or?
Yeah, I remember it was kind of confusing. It was like, how could something, because obviously Tim Curry, his performance and the way it is portrayed in the movie, he's so cunning and slick and sinister. And then you have this really clunky, immobile, insect-looking thing. It's like, it's just like, I don't know. I don't buy it. I feel like whatever his real form would be something, I don't know, just much scarier than that.
Yeah, I didn't actually. Yes, Jess Graham. He says, wait. Is that the Trey Hanna? Yeah, this is my brother. He's here. That's something I don't even think the remake. I call it remake. Call it whatever you want. Requel, remake. I don't give a rat's ass. But I feel like even that didn't even do it justice, because in that one, he's like himself, but he has octopus feet too, or spider feet as well. And I just don't feel like either of the movies did it just. None of them had better final forms than the clowns themselves. So. John Kyle, what's up? CHH and everyone on the stream. Why the hell isn't Rocky 3 in those lists? Dennis for 24 years active duty. Thank you. John Kyle sent, thank you for $5 super chat. Trey, John is my buddy. He's a military vet himself. So, that's where the dentist comment comes in. He knows you're a dentist.
Oh, cool.
So thank you so much, Johnny. I appreciate it. Mickey B with another $5 super chat. I loved it as a kid, not so much anymore. I feel it falls apart on the second part. Yeah, but I actually, Mickey B, I recommend you check out the new documentary called Pennywise, The Story of It. I think that's what it's called. But it'll give you an appreciation for what happened with the spider at the end. It was just a lot of mishaps and not enough time to get stuff right. But it's a great documentary. So check that out, Mickey B. But thank you so much for the $5 super chat. I totally appreciate it. Akeem, how are you doing, brother? It's like a crab spider. But yeah, that's a big part of our life. So that was my number 7.
Nice.
So we got 121 people in here, guys. Thank you for joining us. Please drop a like on the show. Go ahead, Brandon. What's your number 6?
My number 6 is going to be Point Break.
You son of a bitch.
The 91 film.
Dude, why you got the VHS with everything on this
Yeah, I've been
list,
watching this since I was 4 years old, and it's literally been burned into my DNA ever since. I love this movie, everything about it. I think it's probably... besides Roadhouse, this is probably Swayze's best film. It might even be my favorite Keanu Reeves film. There's nothing you don't like about these movies. Am I right? Like, they're just absolute action-packed for perfection. You don't get better than this.
Agreed. I didn't see this. I didn't see this as a kid. I didn't see this till literally like 2 years ago.
Yeah.
But great movie. And again, I think Patrick Swayze is the most dominant movie star on screen. You put him with an ensemble, he will outshine. The camera just likes him more than anybody, in my opinion. Yep. And I miss him. I wish he was still making movies today.
Likewise.
Kiss, Psycho Circus. Oh, dude. So this came out right after the record came out then. I didn't even know about this.
Well, this is Psycho Circus, The Nightmare Child. So I'm pretty sure it was a comic book.
Oh, okay.
So.
Because I have Kiss Pinball for Sega Dreamcast.
Yeah, this came out in 2000, it says. So a couple years later. But yeah, very strange game. I never got far in it. Really nice.
All right, Brandon. Number 6 for me has got to be Jaws.
Nice.
The original, of course, because there's no remake. Part 1 Jaws. I grabbed my medium nice Laserdisc. This is the 1994 widescreen edition of Jaws. And Troy, do you remember when we got a DVD player, which was like a big deal at the time? This was the very first DVD we rented from Blockbuster. Do you remember that?
Yeah, it was really when DVD came out that they were just like making special editions of everything. Remember that Jaws DVD had a really sick cover.
Yep. And we got the DVD. We were one of those families that got onto the technology when the average family did at the time, because you talk to some people that were like really up on there were some people that like in 1996 97 they spent $400 to get a DVD player, whatever it was, super expensive. We got the DVD player when the PlayStation 2 came out, and then like the machine started going down to a sell-through rate, or like a modest rate. Maybe they were like 100, 150 for a player. We got one on sale. My dad, knowing my dad, he probably got a good one at a pawn shop at the time. But this was the first DVD we rented. And Trey can tell you our actual first memory of Jaws was at Universal Studios. And I think we're going to do a show on this soon about our memories of that. But Trey, what are your memories, just for the hell of it? Because I know you have more memories about that than the movie, about Universal Studios, the Jaws ride experience.
Yeah, it was a really cool ride, in my opinion, but it was always more fun to do it at night.
Oh hell no! I would even today I wouldn't do it at night. But Brandon, Trey like Trey, you could Trey. He's being a little humble about it, but when we were a few years ago, we used to talk about it. Trey was always, he would always tell me like, dude, I want to be like an actor on the Jaws ride and just like legitimately be freaking out and shit, like getting on radio. Oh God, everybody sit still. Screw it. I'm going after the shark. I'm going after it. And just jump in the water and shit. But man, we used to fucking love that. And if you go on YouTube now, you can watch the last ride of the Jaws ride at Universal, and it was in early 2010.
Mhm.
It might have been mid 2010 at the Hollywood one, but the greatest ride of all time. And we just covered this on You Need a Horror podcast. I think this is one of the greatest movies, period. Not horror movies, not thrillers, not water horror. Call it. I think this is one of the greatest movies, period, of all time. And I don't think that's even remotely a controversial statement. So that's how I feel about it. Brandon, if you have anything to add on Jars, as we country folks say it, JAWRS.
No, I mean, masterpiece of a film. I can't really top what you said, but I agree. I absolutely agree. It's not in my Rad Pack 9, but it's or my Rad Challenge 9, but it's a monumental film. Definitely.
Yeah, dude. Just between us going on the ride as kids, and then because I'm still a young kid in 2099. I was 9 or whatever, 9, 10. So like seeing that movie on DVD back then, and dude, it's funny, Brandon. I can picture my dad right now. I remember it. He's putting the DVD in, and he's just like, "Damn, look, Christine, look at that picture. Look at the picture on that thing. Damn, son, you see that, son? Damn, look at that. That looks like it was shot yesterday." Like, so it's funny looking back about how we remember. And for the people in the chat, chime in if you remember the same way. The way we reacted to DVD quality at that time, it was like they just cured cancer. I mean, people were losing their minds over it. Yeah. Think about it now. We've gone from 480p to 2160p, you know? Yep. So it's like times have changed. But let me get to these super chats really quick. John Kyle again. Thank you, John Kyle. He says, Trey, why the heck did 1SGs hold us up for the weekend being released because we got a Cat 4 and so on? LOL. Trey, do a shot for Kevin Edgen, who we lost in OEF 4. Thank you, John Kyle. Trey, you have any that's gibberish to me, but you're the vet. So.
Oh, he's talking about not being allowed to go anywhere on the weekends because his dental exam wasn't good.
Oh man. But yeah, John's a good guy, Trey. He's a vet, and he asks about you all the time. So John works with vets too. So he's always like, tell your brother to call me. Tell him to give me a call. Thank you, John, man. I appreciate that so much. And then we got one from Chris Cullen. Thank you, Chris, with $5 super chat. When the corpse came out of the boat and scared Hooper, it still gets me today. Of course, I'll never jump as hard as I did when I was a kid. Yeah, it's funny because we talked about that movie being PG too. It's just incredible that was PG. Garrett says, I have a story of when I got Jordan vs. Bird for Genesis, and my dad was freaking out saying, look how real this looks. You can hear the sneakers on the court. Trey, how many miles did we put on NBA hang time on 64?
You burned a lot of them.
NBA hang time. Like, we used to play all that shit. Y'all ready for this? Anyway, so that was my number 6. Brandon, we're going to number 5, the Rad 9, number 5 on the Tabata list.
So I don't own this movie because I had the DVD and I sold it like a retard. I never bought the Blu-ray either, but it's going to be Pee-wee's Big Adventure.
Oh, you
absolutely.
Bastard.
Absolutely Pee-wee's Big Adventure.
Pee-wee.
I almost put Big Top Pee-wee on here as well, but it's got to be Big Adventure. That movie, in ways a lot of movies on this list aren't, is ingrained in my DNA. Like everything about it, Large Marge, the bike, the soundtrack, the weird. That movie is frightening on a weird level too. Like besides Large Marge, it just has this really frenetic, chaotic undertone that you always kind of feel uneasy with it.
Yeah.
Like it's a family comedy to an extent, but there's definitely some kind of uneasy feeling to it. It's almost like you're you're in the throes of a nightmare before everything gets really scary. That's what that movie feels like to me. It's an absolute fever dream, and I love every second of it.
I love it too, but I can't comment on it how I felt about it as a kid. For some reason, I just never saw Pee-wee's Adventure.
Yeah, and it's funny too because every time I watch Halloween 4 and I see the guy driving the old truck who picks up Loomis, I always flash back to him singing the songs on the damn boxcar.
Yeah.
With Pee Wee Herman. Like, that's where my mind goes every time. So every time I watch Halloween 4, just know I'm thinking about Pee Wee's Big Adventure for a part of that film.
Incredible. So. I just want to say really quick, because it's dawning on me. Sometimes I this is kind of off topic, but I want to say something sincere to my audience right now. When I decided to open up my channel to not just talk about horror, I didn't think that I would be able to do a stream like we are right now and have over 100 people in here listening to us talk about Pee-wee's Big Adventure and Street Fighter. So it's not lost on me how much I appreciate every single one of you right now. It just hit me all of a sudden, and I'm just really grateful. And I got my brother here with me tonight. So what else could I want? It's awesome. So thank you. Let's keep going. And I'm actually going to cheat a little bit because this is going to be a broader spectrum answer movie. It's kind of like talking about a series, but I have a Laserdisc to show. And this is one of, I'm going to get Trey to open up on this one. This is one of our favorite things to watch as kids. Our favorite stuff to watch as kids were the old Showa Godzilla films. And right here, I've got my 1954 Godzilla black and white Laserdisc to show. Wow. One of my favorite Laserdisc arts too. I love this artwork for Godzilla. This is the American version on Laserdisc, of course. This is not the original Gojira version. This is the original. But yes, massive fan of this. Trey, which do you remember? And this is actually, I say Showa era, but we watched a lot of Heisei too. Do you remember, Trey, what our favorite Godzilla film was as kids, where we used to we had the VHS tape? I'll give you a hint. It's from 1989. You have to remember this. We used to watch it all the time, and it was I still say it's the most badass Godzilla film. Please tell me you remember the tape I'm referencing and the Godzilla film I'm referencing.
The one that I love was Biollante.
Godzilla vs. Biollante, 1989. Yeah. Talk about Brandon, are you familiar with Biollante?
Godzilla was just evil looking.
Brandon, this is anybody in the chat. Oh, we already got Saturn Video, Biollante. Trey, what do you remember about as kids? Because I always give Uncle Mark a lot of credit for the Godzilla love. And him really kind of raising us on Godzilla. Because he would come over when he would babysit us and he'd have the TV guide out. And he would be like, "Hey, Bubba, we're going to watch Godzilla versus Gojira tonight." Mecha, and then Mecha Gojira. You remember? Because he could never say any of the characters right. Bubba, you remember Rodan, Bubba? Rodan? You know? I've told the audience the story about the Conjuring already, so they know who. And I got to get Uncle Mark on it. I've got to get Uncle Mark on, the show, so we can be like, "Bubba, you're going to see the Expandables tonight? Stallone's back, Bubba." But yeah, what do you remember about us as kids? And do you have any Godzilla memories that you remember that were your favorites? Because for me, the Biollante versus Godzilla, that is to me, that's one of the best Godzilla films ever, top to bottom, without question. And I have that Laserdisc. I don't know why I didn't grab that. I should have, but we watched a lot growing up, right? We watched a lot of the old ones. Manila, Space Godzilla, which is one of your favorite characters, I know.
That's my favorite, Space Godzilla.
I'm trying to think of some other ones that we watched as kids specifically. Oh, Trey, what was your favorite Godzilla game on Super Nintendo? It's the only Godzilla game on Super Nintendo.
Yeah, it was Super Godzilla.
Godzilla. Now, it was an interesting game, though, right? Because it was almost kind of point and click like.
It's the only official canon Godzilla where Godzilla takes on a whole different form when you acquire enough energy for him.
And you remember how difficult it was for us to figure out how to battle? To get points, you have to punch. You have to close the gap, close the distance, and take your little arms and go and get a hit in. And then you back up and your beam goes up. And if you can get it to go up high enough, then you hit. It was timing. But
Yeah.
there was Trey. I'm telling you, Brandon, Trey was. This is the kind of gamer I am. Let me turn on Clay Fighter and just beat ass for 5 minutes. Trey is the guy that studies the game, plays it, learns more about it, and conquers it. I never had the patience. But that was Trey. He would sit there, figure the game out, and not stop. And Trey would get to Ghidorah. You would get to Ghidorah in the beginning, and you'd whip his ass, and you'd knock the head off. But it wasn't until the end of the game where he comes back. And then he's got the metal head, right?
Mecha King Ghidorah.
Mecha King Ghidorah.
Yeah, I rented Super Godzilla one time from Videoland. It's the only time I've ever played it. I cannot figure out how the hell to play the game, and I rage quit. That's my most vivid memory of Godzilla, Super Godzilla.
But see, you can't do that though, Brandon. You have to download the. I know Trey Brandon was actually streaming Castlevania 4 on his channel the other night, and Brandon fucking just destroyed on that game. He beat the game. It was incredible. But Brandon's a good gamer. Brandon, you have to try this game again and just adapt and learn how to play it. And I think it's actually, even for me, it's a very rewarding game. And you have to practice it. It's one of those games where you have to practice, like Castlevania 4, quite frankly. You have to practice and get better and learn timing and things like that. I think you'd actually really like it. And the graphics are pretty sensational for Super Nintendo because of the detail in the 16-bit. I think it's a great game. But again, we're talking about movies, but this is what triggers the memories of this stuff is the games. And it's funny because we would go to Blockbuster, we would buy these games, and me and Trey would take the games out of the box because Super Nintendo would sell you the cardboard with the manuals. Right. What did we do, Trey? What did we do when we got this stuff back in the day as kids?
Crack open that manual, baby.
But not only that, what I'm saying is you'd open up the cardboard, pull the game out, and then what do we do with the cardboard? We just throw it away. And we had hundreds of dollars at that time, but we didn't realize it.
Nobody really kept them though. It wasn't like it was just us.
I know. And I've shown my brother. I mean, I've shown the internet my video game collection, and I was fortunate because this is how we used to operate back in the day, Brandon. I was not to be trusted with a credit card or a debit card at this time in my life. So I would just get cash, and I had Trey's eBay account on my phone. I had Trey's eBay account on my iPod Touch because this is when they were basically like cell phones, right? And Trey used to have a rule: if you order something off eBay, there must be a tip. So if I bought something for $10, I'd put like 15. And Trey would wake up. Trey, tell the story. When I would late night shop while you were asleep, what would happen when you would wake up?
Yeah, I would just wake up to cash on my computer and 15 emails about shipping confirmations, and it was bizarre.
It was funny, and Trey would be like, "Hey man," because I would start depleting Trey's bank account because I'd give him cash, and he'd have to get to the bank, and he'd be like, "All right, you got to settle down for a few days. I got to go deposit this money." Trey probably had like 50. I would just buy shit, Brandon. Like I would watch Angry Video Game Nerd, and I'd see he had the original Donkey Kong toy that has the hands like this, right? And I would see it, and I'd be like, "Oh, I got to go get that." I go on eBay, I just buy it, and Trey's cell phone would be on the nightstand while he's sleeping. Trey would wake up, I would slide like a 20 under his phone, so he'd wake up and he'd be like, "He must have been shopping."
Right. That's hilarious.
And there were a few times where like I wasn't friendly with the tip, and Trey would come back. I'd get a knock on my door. I'm gonna need a little bit more on that one. You gotta cover shipping. That wasn't free shipping.
Yeah, I know. The shipping would be the worst.
It was fun times, man. Yes, I have Donkey Kong 64. That's why Sega boxes were better back then. Amen. Sega boxes were the best. CHH, is Trey your brother who laughs at Paul Rudd standing in the window of Curse of Michael Myers? This is the Trey. Now, Trey may not remember this, but in Halloween Curse of Michael Myers, there's a scene where Paul Rudd, it's Paul Rudd who plays Tommy in Halloween 6. There's a scene where like the kids are driving in their convertible down the road, and Paul Rudd is that he has this full-bodied window, and he's literally just standing at the window looking out. You see his entire body. He's not even remotely hiding that he's staring at him. And I just remember you busting out laughing. Like, this dude's a fucking creep. He's got his pants up to his fucking titties. He's wearing his pants real high. His shirt's tucked in real tight. He's dressed like an asshole in Halloween 6. Oh, shit. Funny stuff. All right, Brandon, is it my turn?
I don't know. Who just went?
You just went. You were talking. No. I just went. Godzilla.
Did you?
What I did.
Okay, yeah, I lost focus here.
That was my number 5.
So we're on number 4 now then.
Number 4.
Okay, so my number 4 is going to be The Sandlot.
Bastard.
Naturally. Absolute 90s classic, part of my DNA. This is one of those movies that it makes you feel so nostalgic for this movie, even though it takes place decades before we actually grew up. And it's one of those movies where you wish you had friends like this growing up. Like, I didn't grow up playing baseball on a sandlot with a bunch of baseball friends, but like it makes you feel like you did, if that makes any sense. And it sort of makes you long for a childhood you didn't necessarily have with people like that. But it's so wholesome and good feeling, but nostalgic at the same time.
Yeah, well, we definitely watched that as kids all the time, Sandlot. Yeah. And I think as a kid, my favorite character was always the red-haired, the catcher, the heavyset dude.
Mm-hmm.
What's his name in the movie?
Ham Porter.
They called him Ham. Is that what they called him in the movie?
I think so.
He was great.
Ham Porter. Yeah.
Yeah.
The big green.
That movie almost felt like the Martin Scorsese type movie for kids because it's all the narration throughout the movie. Yeah. You know, that very Martin Scorsese, Goodfellas type stuff, which I love. That's a staple of Martin Scorsese stuff. And I'm always a big fan of that, like that narration stuff that goes on. And
it's just a well-made movie too. Like, it's the Super Scope 2.39 aspect ratio. The cinematography is great. It really looks like an older movie than it is. I think it looks like a 50s incredibly.
Movie. Yeah.
And Dennis Leary is still fantastic early 90s asshole Dennis Leary. So you just love it.
Yeah.
It's just great. So
there you go. Trey, you have any comments on The Sandlot?
Just a lot of great quotes. And yeah, I mean, I think it's just a movie that everybody watched. I mean, even if you didn't love it, you know, like that time you saw it.
And you just watch it. But I always felt like, Trey, if memory serves, I always felt like you were a bigger fan of like the Goldberg character from the Mighty Ducks films, the big heavyset kid that was always shitting himself.
Yeah. He had a lot of gastrointestinal problems.
we watched Mighty Ducks a lot too. But all right, Brandon, is it my turn?
It is. It's your number 4, I think.
My number 4 is, damn, I must have left one of my laser discs out there. My number 4 is Casper.
Wow, look at that.
Yeah, Casper, man. This is another movie we had on VHS back in the day, and it was kid friendly, but it would still creep me out as a kid. And Casper is my jam. As a matter of fact, Brandon, I hope this gets a 4K. I really do.
Oh yeah, that's a classic. That is absolutely a classic. Did you guys see that in theaters or no?
No, we just had the VHS tape.
Yeah, I wish I had saw that in theaters, man.
But yeah, I love this movie. I haven't watched it in a long time, and I say I didn't watch it. I watched it like 4 years ago, and I was like flabbergasted by all the cameos in it. Like Rodney Dangerfield is in Casper, and Dan Aykroyd, right? Doesn't he show up as a Ghostbuster in this movie?
He does.
Yeah. Who are you gonna call? Someone else.
That's a great movie.
You know, the only thing I don't like about this movie as a kid was when Casper actually reveals himself as the boy who he was. Because I was like, I don't give a shit about him as a human. I just want to see him as a ghost. And Brandon, with the 3 ghosts, which one was your favorite out of the 3?
I think Stretch. Fatso was funny. Stinky was funny, but I think Stretch is the best one.
I like Fatso. But yeah, I remember when I was getting into laser discs, this was one of the titles I went out of my way to grab because I was grabbing stuff from my childhood. But oh, cool! Is that a Land Before Time?
Yeah, this was unopened at the flea market a couple of years ago, and I opened it because it had a little dent in it. But yeah, it's pristine quality, and this was still inside of it. This little
Oh, nice.
free Pepsi Melon. So that's a great choice. That is absolutely a phenomenal choice.
Damn right, brother. So there we go. The human Casper is the guy from Final Destination. Yeah, but as a kid, I didn't give a rat's ass about him. I didn't want to see him as a kid. I like the ghosts. So, there we go. Goldberg from the Mighty Ducks is like a homeless meth head now. That's what I hear. He weighs like 70 pounds.
Jeez.
Anyway, moving on.
Oh, is it my turn again?
It's your turn.
What is number 3? Okay, so number 3, I'm going to go with the original Wizard of Oz. One of my all-time favorite movies. I think this is probably burned into everybody's DNA.
Yeah.
To one extent or another. I mean, I don't really need to even explain myself with this one. This is just fantastic on every level. Infinitely enjoyable, infinitely rewatchable, infinitely terrifying on some kind of weird primordial level. And yeah.
No, when like 10 years ago, it probably happened longer than that, but like around 10, 12 years ago, when people started talking about like the Munchkin scene and stuff, were you already smart enough to know? Because I'm sure you've went out of your way to make sure you've watched maybe like a print of the original VHS release that came out in the early 80s, whatever. But were you already privy to know that was all bullshit and that there was really like a big bird that was in the background?
I kind of bought into it for at least a little bit, because when that whole like urban legend came out, those videos that showed it were really pixelated. You know what I mean? So it kind of looked like that. And once you rewatch the VHS tape, like, like for example, at least these 2 original VHS tapes, even the DVD and stuff at the time.
What years
you could tell it was a damn bird.
What year did those tapes come out?
This one was 19.
Are those like 80s or 90s?
This was a 91 release, this one.
Okay.
And this version is a 1989. This was the 50-year anniversary edition.
Damn.
It has like a
come over
a booklet and stuff.
Nice. I mean, I remember
VHS.
I remember me and Trey watching that as kids. And I remember it would be a big deal. Like when it would come on, like my family would watch it, and like it would be an event kind of thing. Yeah. Because at that point, even by that point, it was considered one of the greatest movies ever made to people. And yeah.
But the hanging Munchkin thing, I mean, it's always been a bird. It's never been a Munchkin hanging. That never happened. That really is an urban legend. And like, for those that debate it, you can just look at the set. The set was not that deep to be a Munchkin hanging himself way at the back of this supposed warehouse they were in. Like the set ended like 6 feet from where Dorothy was. So it was just the animatronic bird opening its wings. You can see it plain as day. It wasn't covered up. It's one of those things that caught fire for some reason and spread like wildfire. But it was never a Munchkin hanging himself, I promise.
Damn.
Yeah.
Try people. Look, Trey, if you are getting tired, I know you've been up all day and you need to dip out, you can. Just let me know. You don't have to stay here the whole night if you don't want to, but hang around as long as you want.
Dude, Saturn says give Trey a cosmic brownie.
Yeah. People are saying, Trey, wake up. Trey is sleeping. Give Trey a cosmic brownie.
Does this still make cosmic brownies?
We had them last night. We did a cosmic brownie show last night.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
The Christmas ones were the best, though.
All right, Brandon. Come. I tell you what, I'm going to do my next. Let me wait till Brandon gets his headphones back on. All right, Brandon. So my next pick is actually something I don't own a DVD or VHS of, and I need to change that. My next pick, my number 3, is the Goosebumps, the Haunted Mask movie.
Oh, does that count? Son of a bitch.
I mean, it has to. That's a movie to me, especially as a kid.
Damn it. Okay,
and
yeah, good call.
I wish I had the VHS. Trey, you remember how cool those Goosebumps VHS tapes were? And like they were the clamshells. Yeah. We used to watch the show all the time as kids, but I remember, we would watch that. Trey, do you remember the one where the 2 kids like go in the suit, like they go like to like this medieval? It was like a boy and a girl, and they go to like a medieval show, and like all of a sudden the stupid ass boy is like he's poking shit, and the guy's like, y'all don't get lost with the group. And of course,
Night in Terror Tower.
Night in Terror Tower. Yeah. That was the one that scared the shit out of me as a kid, more than anything. But,
that was a great show.
Yeah, we used to watch. Me and Trey used to watch Goosebumps religiously. I think every kid did, but we used to watch The Haunted Mask all the time. Now,
Yeah.
Trey, do you remember the sequel to Haunted Mask where the boy gets the old man haggard face?
I almost
yeah,
like that one better.
That one is that. I think that one is better.
Yeah.
It was good because Carly Beth is in it, but very seldom. She's not in the whole thing. But Trey, do you remember the creepiest part about the Goosebumps to me was not any of the guy goes. I always feel like in an alternate reality, this is me. Like I own a mask shop and I'm dressed in black with a red tie and I've got like a massive scar on my face, like I've been to hell and back. And like that's what my mask shop is like all year round. And like I have shit in the store that's not for sale. Like what the fuck? But they go in the mask store and the guy's like, "Those aren't for sale." And she's like, "What are you talking about? Like, it's a mask store." And so she fucking steals the mask and she's freaking out. But you remember, Trey, the creepiest part about that movie was the fucking mom. She goes home and the mom's like, "I have a present for you." And she's like, "What?" The mom has like a live cast of her daughter's head on a fucking stick. You remember that? And it's her. To me as a kid, I was like, "What the hell is that?" Like that was the scariest part to me. But dude, great. And talk about those premiere effects in that movie when the heads start rising and they start floating off the screen at the end of the movie. Great shit. But I think I'd off of memory, I'd probably have to agree that what was the name of that one? Is it The Return of the Haunted Mask?
Haunted Mask 2.
Haunted Mask 2. Yeah. I part of me would agree with you guys that was in fact better than the Haunted Mask.
Yeah, because the old guy puts on
memories.
the mask and stuff in that one too. So there's like 2 haunted masks at large in part 2.
Well, I really dug the haggard old man look for 2 as well.
Yeah, that was a great mask.
I need to see that again, Brandon. It's been Trey. I'm assuming for you too, because your kids aren't old enough yet to where you probably showed them Goosebumps. When we were little, we were watching all that shit by that point when we were really little. But I mean, do you think that's something you're ever going to show your kids? Is Goosebumps just like let them marathon it, or?
Yeah, absolutely. My kid's favorite movie right now is Nightmare Before Christmas. They all love it.
Nice.
There you go.
Very nice.
Yeah. That almost made my list, but I kind of just kept it off just to do something else. To be honest,
it's a good choice though. That would be a good choice.
Yeah. The Werewolf of Fever Swamp, Goosebumps Headless Ghost was my favorite. Return of the Mummy. It was scarier than The Mask. So yeah,
Stay Out of the Basement was a good one, I think.
No, you remember that one? The dad down there who was just growing a bunch of weed down his basement, and the kid would open up the door, "Stay out of the damn basement."
Yeah.
Turns out that the real dad was like
a plant.
The real dad was a plant, and then one of the plants turned into his dad, and he was like pissing and shitting like green and throwing up in the sink at night, which he sounded like everybody's dad when they would brush their teeth when we were little. Why does everybody's dad gag when they're brushing their teeth? But I have the books of those too. I rebought a bunch of those Goosebumps books. They were so great as a kid. But yeah, Stay Out of the Basement. One of my favorite books was the one where it's like the cover art is this fat ass rat in a cage, and I can't remember what it was called.
That's Monster Blood 2.
Monster Blood 2.
Yeah, that's a great book.
Oh, do you remember Terror of the Deep with the big giant hammerhead shark?
I do. That was Deep Trouble. Deep Trouble.
Yeah. Excuse me. Yeah, that's good stuff, man.
Those are great books. Beast from the East was hardcore too.
Beast from the East, dude.
Egg Monsters from Mars, dude.
Trey, you used to get this book all the time. The Abominable Snowman.
Of Pasadena.
Of Pasadena.
Yeah.
What about the one where there was a picture of a cookout with skeletons? I can't remember.
Say cheese and die.
That's Jinx, motherfucker, right there.
Yeah, that probably was one of my top 3.
Yeah, dude, that was a good book. But yeah, I remember The Abominable Snowman of Pasadena. He was like, it was like a snowman wasn't he like destroying like a USPS mailbox drop off or something? Or was it a street light?
I think it was a street sign.
I gotta look this up because this is gonna hit me in the fucking feels. All right, let me Google this. The Abominable. How do you spell abominable?
ABOMINABLE.
Okay, I found it. Oh my God, Trey, tell me you don't remember this shit. This is gonna hit you in the feels. Yeah, this is one of my favorite artworks ever.
Dude, I love that.
You remember that,
Snowman of
Trey?
Pasadena. Yeah.
Pasadena. Who'd have thought? Brandon, how many Goosebumps books do you think were actually sold back in the day?
Oh, I couldn't even tell you, dude. That's amazing. That's people forget how much of a phenomenon that was.
It was as big as a phenomenon as like Pokemon cards were.
Yeah, it was. I mean, you talk about capturing the zeitgeist. Goosebumps ruled the fucking mid to late 90s. It was insane. Absolutely insane. I mean, I don't think I knew a kid in school who didn't read those things. That theme song. Yeah. That piano, man. That theme song did not have to go that hard, and they just
Dude, it's the hardest.
Dude,
Don't
yeah.
get me copyright. Don't get me copyright, Trey. I'm trying to monetize this stream. I can't have the music playing. I don't own the song.
That song hits.
It is. All right, Brandon, that was your number 2.
That was my number. What did I just do?
Oh, I just picked. That was my number
Yeah.
3. Let me get this real quick. Big K Movies and Games with a $2 super chat. Thank you so much, Give Trey. I like it. Look at Big K's Movies and Games in video as his picture. It's a VHS tape and a clear Nintendo 64 controller. Give Trey some grapeseed oil and Tang to wake up.
Can you guys hear rumbling at all through my mic?
No.
Do you guys hear anything?
Trey's
It's
not
loud in here.
Yeah, Trey's not tired, guys. He's he this is new to him. He doesn't ever come on camera much, but he's fine. Thank you, Big K Movies and Games, for the $2 super chat. Let me give you a little something. Let me give you one of these.
The best part of eating corn on the cob is when like shit sprays out of it and you hit somebody in the eye with the water. Yeah. There's a rocket going up right now, and it's loud as fuck right now.
Like, what do you mean? Like in your house or outside? We don't hear anything. So
Yeah, it's crazy. Yeah, it's rumbling like crazy.
oh well.
They're doing a night launch right now.
Nice. All right, Brandon. That was my number 3. So now we're going on to your number 2.
My number 2 is going to be, let me see my list. I have my list written down. Okay, my number 2 is going to be, obviously, I think everybody's list is the original 1990 Ninja Turtles movie. I mean, this movie, absolutely hardcore, fantastic film. The Ninja Turtles have never looked better than they did in this film. Dark, gritty, also comical and kid-friendly at the same time. It sort of captured that mesh of the TV show and the comic books, at least at the time. I can't say anything about this movie that hasn't been said, but I also can't say enough positive things about it, and I just wish it was longer than it is. And I still enjoy part 2, and I saw that in theaters as well. But part 2, I mean, I remember the complaints about this movie, and I hate the fact that part 2 became what it was. Like, I wanted more of this, not what we got in part 2. As much as I like part 2, it was too cartoony.
Do you still have
For
the
me.
pizza coupon with your VHS, Brandon? Brandon, what's funny is isn't in the intro of the intro of the VHS tape, it's a Pizza Hut commercial, and yet it's Domino's Pizza in the movie.
I don't know.
I think it's a Pizza Hut promo thing.
I don't remember that. I'd have to rewatch.
Dude, it's so funny you mentioned that, because when we were kids, Ninja Turtles was still a pretty big sensation in the later 90s, especially like around 97. The cartoon had just ended the year before, and there were still toys galore. As a matter of fact, one of my toys, Brandon, I have a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles tournament fighter release. Really? Nice. Trey is sleeping. People are just and Trey's sleeping again. You know, it's so Brandon, I have the Kmart tag on it still.
That's amazing.
It is called a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Tournament Fighter Leonardo figure. It's from 1996. Right. It's in the box. I need to take a picture and show it to you. It's so cool because he's got on like a headband and he's got weapons, and it's from the mid 90s. Were those the action figures that were like more soft, rubbery versus the hard plastic? I haven't opened it up, so I can't tell you.
It was based on the SNES game, right? Tournament Fighters.
Yes, Sega Genesis, awesome. SNES. Yeah, it's a great game. I love it, and I would love to do a stream playing that because I would wreck shop. But anyway, it's so funny you bring up Ninja Turtles because My mom had a Ninja Turtles VHS for us when we were kids, but I guess she knew that one was too violent. So under her bed and the big box with VHS tapes was Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2, The Secret of the Ooze. This is the one I watched as a kid because it was softer and they didn't say damn and hell in it. And
Donnie is so derpy in that film, by the way.
I don't care what anybody says. This movie is still fire.
It is.
And it's great. And you've got my boy in it. What's his name? What's my boy's name?
Kino.
Yeah, but what's the actor's name? Let
me look him up. He played Donnie in the first movie, I think.
He was in the Three Ninjas, wasn't he?
He was, yep. He was also in that movie. He was in that movie, The Rundown, too.
Yeah.
With Sean William Scott. He was played by
Ernie
Reyes.
Ernie
Reyes Jr.
Ernie Reyes Jr.
Yeah. He's
awesome in this. I love this movie. I have the Laserdisc for all three films. Joe Jackson, a co-host that not.
That's amazing.
It's a solid gimmick. He KO'd. Oh my god. Richie says, Trey, you got kids? I feel you, brother.
He understands.
I just love the fact that the audience thinks it's hysterical. Sleep camp. But yes, Ninja Turtles. I love me some Ninja Turtles too. I don't think it's as good as one, but I mean, look how cool the Laserdiscs are, Brandon, because you get all the get these big pictures on here. And
who was the wrestler? Oh, who, Toka and Razor?
Dude, Brandon, don't hate on Toka and Razor. They earned their spot.
Oh, I hate them. The fact that they're in one episode of the cartoon is justified. It's justified. One episode.
Well, Brandon, they're in the cartoon, but
for one episode, yeah.
I want to say they're in one of the video games too.
Yeah, they're in Turtles in Time. They're the second or third boss.
Okay, time out. Trey, tell Brandon that Hyperstone Heist is in fact better than Turtles in Time.
It'll be a lie though.
Well, didn't we have two different Turtles in Time?
We had Turtles in Time on Super Nintendo, but we played Hyperstone Heist on Genesis.
Yeah.
The music is better. That's not a debate. It's not a debate. It's not a debate.
Just disagree.
It's not. But Trey, we used to play, remember, we played Hyperstone Heist and we used to wreck shop. And it's a little shorter and you can get through it. It's more palatable. But I'm telling you, we used to whip ass on Hyperstone Heist, dude.
The ghost ship level is pretty cool. It's like the foggy ship thing on Hyperstone Heist. Trey, but it's pretty much the same as Turtles in Time.
More of a Battletoads guy.
Battletoads, yes. But I understand. I'm a Sega guy. Justin says he disagrees with me. Yeah, we used to play Battletoads a lot too. Brandon, did you ever play those? Battletoads.
I did. I played the SNES one.
Battletoads.
The SNES one, which was hard as fuck.
Whoa. Battle Maniacs?
No, let me see what it was called. Because I know there's a couple of them for SNES, I think.
There's two. There's Battletoads and Battle Maniacs, and then there's Battletoads and Double Dragon.
Battle Maniacs was the one, and that was a great game, but damn, that game kicked my ass for a while.
The music for that game is sensational.
I need to emulate that game and play that on a live stream. That would be fun.
Yes. Thank you, Saturn Video. Hyperstone Heist is superior.
You're wrong.
They're both great games. For me, this music, I think the music. Brandon, have you ever listened to the isolated music from Hyperstone Heist?
Yeah, I think I have it. I think I have it downloaded on my computer.
I love it.
Yeah, okay, I prefer Turtles in Time, but
so that was your number 2. No, I just went.
What did you do?
Number 2 was Turtles 2.
Oh, that was actually your number 2. Nice. Okay.
So now we're down to number 1.
Right, but real quick, who was the wrestler who played Super Shredder in that movie?
Big sexy Kevin Nash.
That's who it was. Okay.
Yeah.
My number 1, and I've talked about this up teen times. I couldn't leave it out. I grew up watching this film. It's my favorite horror film of all time. Probably my favorite movie of all time besides Wizard of Oz and shit like that. But it's Jason Lives, hands down. Absolutely, Jason Lives. Part of the DNA, killer soundtrack, great acting, great story, fun, camp, meta before meta was cool. Everything about this, I mean, I don't even need to talk about this movie. Everything about it works. Everything about it's a masterpiece. Tom McLaughlin killed it in this movie. Tom Matthews killed it as Tommy Jarvis. I mean, I can't I could spend 3 hours talking about the pros of this movie with not one con in sight besides maybe the fact that it's too short. I wish this movie was like 2.5 hours versus the 85, 90 minutes it is.
Trey, you tell Brandon what the best Friday the 13th movie is. As an expert yourself, Trey, why don't you tell Brandon what the greatest Friday the 13th movie is?
Not 3D.
It's part 6, right? Jason Lives.
Just say it, Trey. Say it for the audience one time. Jason goes where?
You go straight to hell.
Great pick, Brandon. That's a great pick. Are you ready for my number one, Brandon? Because it is a far cry from Friday the 13th, part 6, Jason Lives.
All right.
My number one pick. I watched this literally every day as a kid for probably 3 years. I mean, the VHS tape it never stopped spinning.
I knew it. After the group chat,
Flintstones.
I knew you were going to say Flintstones.
This is in fact, Brandon, like my actual number one. You could kind of mess around with the list before, but this is my number one. And Trey's favorite character was that damn bird in that movie.
The bird was great.
Very nice.
Dude, I love this movie so much. This is, in fact, the greatest Steven Spielberg film ever made.
Was that Spielberg?
Whoa.
There's no way.
Yeah, and I don't appreciate you laughing, to be honest.
Wow.
I think it's very disrespectful. I love this movie so much. John Goodman is Fred. But, Brandon, the reason this movie works so good is because of Barney Rubble.
Hey, Fred. Yeah, he's pretty good. Pretty good.
And then you got Tom McLaughlin from Twin Peaks playing Mr. What's his name? Vandecave.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Halle Berry's in this. Dude, but here's the funny. You know why I love this movie, Brandon? As a kid, nothing made sense. Mm-hmm. This movie is about Fred getting tricked into embezzling money from a company.
Right.
As a kid, nobody knows what the fuck embezzling is. Like, that's just not a word you don't know.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, he's a dictabird. Brah.
That was what, 94, right?
Brah.
94,
Yeah.
95.
Yeah.
That was a big deal when it came out. I feel like people forget about that movie a lot.
Look at the back, Brandon.
That's killer.
Oh, remember Brandon in the beginning? Trey, do you remember in the beginning when they're trying to adopt a kid, where Barney and his wife, not Wilma. What's the wife's name?
Velma.
Velma.
Not Velma. It's not Velma.
That's
Wilma. Wilma and Betty. Yeah. Velma
Betty.
is Scooby-Doo.
So,
yeah, Betty and Wilma.
Betty and Barney are going to get a kid, and all of a sudden they're at the adoption agency, and a fucking monkey comes out. And he's like, "It's not what we were expecting, but we'll love him like it was our own." He's not yours. He's going to the Hendersons, and then there's like a couple monkeys that they grab the little chimp and drag his ass out. I love this movie, dude, so much. Literally, I watched it, Brandon, every day.
That's a great choice.
Like in 1997, when I say that my VHS tape spun every fucking day, I mean every day. Yeah. I love it. I think it's hysterical. And honestly, at the very end of the movie, dude, when they're launching those giant ass like rocks onto like all the equipment and stuff, and so everything went over my head as a kid. Every single thing. Remember when he goes, "Flintstone, you created this mixture of mixing heat and gas and rock, and you created this he created concrete at the end of the movie." And he goes, "I'm gonna name it after my daughter Concretia." Like, that went over my head. I was like, "It's just a shitty name. Why would you call your kid that?" Like, nothing makes sense to me. But I remember the Dictabirds like saying something at the end, like, what did he say at the end of he's like, he's getting chased, and he's like, "I should have gone to Disney," or some shit. Thank God that Dictabird didn't go there.
Did you like Viva Rock Vegas?
No, I hated it. We saw that in the theaters. I don't know if Trey remembers that. We saw it in the theaters, and in the trailer, we saw the trailer for the movie. And the reason we watched it, Brandon, was seriously because I just watched this movie every single day up until the movie came out. And I was telling myself, this movie is going to have John Goodman in it. I don't care what the trailer's showing. And then literally in the theater, I just continuously melted in my chair until I wanted to kill myself.
They should have just had them at the beginning, like tell them the backstory, like just have them for one scene, and it would have made it better. There he is,
the dude who loves movies.
What's up, Cody?
Guys? How you doing?
What's up, brother?
Can you hear me all right?
Christian. We can, yeah.
All right, cool.
So with that said, Christian, do you have honorable mentions or no?
I do. Honestly,
I got 15.
Okay, perfect. Go ahead.
I'm gonna go.
Real quick. Jude loves movies. He's tired, but this is my brother Trey. So hurry up and tell him hi before he passes out.
Trey, nice to meet you, buddy.
Same.
Jim Powers, what's up, brother? How do you avoid STDs? Asking for a friend. You know what, brother? I just say let it roll and live life to the fullest. That's my suggestion. You're gonna die somehow. CR with a $4.99 super chat. Christian, first of all, he called me Christina, but I'll accept it because he's giving me money. Christina, buy Trey a Red Bull for me, please. Trey, are you sipping on some tea, some red tea or green tea or something?
Plain tea.
I'm glad, Trey, from now on, you realize, thank you very much, CR. I appreciate it. No, I see that you were correcting yourself. Trey, whenever you do come on the show in the future, you do have to make sure you're really tired, though, because this is your gimmick now. So
it's trademark now.
I actually don't want you to, have to leave the show. I just want you to fall asleep on the show for the record.
Stay there.
But Cody, real quick, Brandon, before we get to your honorable mentions, Cody, dude, thank you for hopping on with us.
Yeah, man. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. So Trey, does it look like Cody's sitting on his toilet and that's his shower curtain behind him?
I thought about that for a second.
Everybody does.
I love it.
He's frozen.
He'll come back. You should bring Trey back on a show to talk about music. Are you back, Cody? Are you froze for a second, Cody?
I was frozen?
Yeah.
You were. You're good now.
I'm good now? Okay, cool.
You were frozen with a smile, though, so it was pretty good.
Okay.
Now, Cody, can you kind of remind, before we get to Brandon's incredible list of honorable mentions, what do you remember from your list that you did of some of your Rad 9?
Yeah, so I had Little Giants on there.
Dude, another Rick Moranis classic.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I had a Goofy Movie.
Nice.
Had Tremors was on there.
Nice.
Breakdown with Kurt Russell. It's my favorite Kurt Russell movie.
So you saw that back in the day?
Yeah, I had the VHS. I got a TV and a VCR put in my room when I was a kid back in the 90s. Like, when you were a kid and you got that put in your room, you're like, oh, this is freaking awesome.
Yeah.
I got a Breakdown and I got Cliffhanger.
Nice.
Gifted to me.
Yeah.
So I watched those on repeat over and over again. And then I started recording everything off of TV, like Simpsons episodes, music videos, like a Spring Break on VH1 or not on MTV Spring Break, like stuff like that,
Incredible, dude. Badass. But yeah, I was gonna say really quick. I just watched Breakdown.
Oh, really? 3
months ago, and with my wife and Sydney, who's constantly critical of everything. Unless who's the guy that unless Peter Jackson made it, she doesn't like wasting her time, right? But she watched that movie with me and she was like, good God, why have I never even heard of this? I was like, I don't know, but it's really one of Kurt Russell's best movies.
A lot of people don't talk about it. I have this, it's like my notebook.
Oh, damn, look at that.
Wow.
Yeah, it's made out of a VHS cover.
Where'd you get
That's
that?
cool.
I got on Etsy.
Nice.
Etsy.
Yeah.
Dude, that's
Etsy.
pimp. Badass.
Yeah, so while I was browsing the store of Unita candles, I came across this as well.
Hell yeah, dude. That's badass.
Yeah.
I like your Tesla shirt, dude. That's pimp.
My uncle worked for Tesla and he gave me his shirts.
Right on.
Nice.
Jim Powers says, Cody, what conditioning agent do you recommend for that beard? That is you do have a solid ass beard, dude.
Yeah, I wear Live Bearded.
What's that?
Live Bearded is what I wear.
What is
My
that?
beard.
Is it like a conditioner?
Yeah, it's a conditioner. It's like a beard product. I do that, and then I do. I always want to call it Hungry Man Jack, but it's like I think it's called something Man Jack, but that's a cheaper version that's in stores.
Yeah, very nice. There you go, Jim. All right, Brandon. one last thing before we go to your list, Brandon. Trey, what is one of your favorite childhood movies? Have you had time to kind of simmer and think and reflect?
Mortal Kombat.
I knew you were going to say that. I knew you were going to say Mortal Kombat.
That's 2 thumbs up for sure.
Trey, were you devastated when Raiden cut his hair and looked like a used car salesman in Annihilation?
Annihilation, I remember watching it for the first time and just being confused.
Because different actors were playing different characters. And I thought you liked Jax, though.
Yeah.
You remember the black guy with the metal?
Jax was cool.
Yeah.
I thought the Cyrax scene was one of the better parts of the movie, but
Yeah.
the ending was pretty terrible.
Dude, what are you talking about when the video game dragon pops out, or is that the end of part one?
It's like
No, that's part two.
It was like a claymation dragon.
Oh, you try. I don't know if it's true because Cinemasker, James Rolfe might have talked about this. I think he said that like that was what do you call it, Brandon, when you put something into the film as a demo, but it's not supposed to be the final thing. That was used as a placeholder, like a demo version, but like the producers like it's good enough, get it out.
I think like a test shot or a
Like a
screen test
because
Yeah.
it looks so shitty. I have Annihilation on Blu-ray, Trey. I love it, but it's terrible. But
Same here.
you gotta love it because Trey, remember I have an honorable mention, but I'll have to I have to say this honorable mention now, Brandon, because it goes with this.
I hear you.
Joe Dirt is another it has to be part of my childhood. And the best scene is Buffalo Bob, because that's Shao Kahn. Anytime Buffalo Bob shows up in a movie, it's an automatic B+. And him playing Shao Kahn is incredible.
Mhm.
Trey, what do you call those things, Trey, when it's a half man, half horse? When he's got like a chest, but then his ass turns into a horse?
Like a centaur?
A centaur. Doesn't
Yeah.
Jax beat the piss out of the centaur at the end of the movie?
Yeah, Motaro. Yeah.
Motaro.
Motaro, yeah.
And then they had the female Goro. Oh,
Shiva.
man. Shiva. Yeah. Trey, what was your favorite Mortal Kombat game? Tell Brandon.
Probably it's a tie between 2 and 4.
4 was good. 4 is very underrated, but I would have to go with SNES version of 2 for
Yeah.
sure. To this day.
You guys are killing me. It's Ultimate Mortal Kombat 3.
Ultimate Mortal Kombat 3 on Genesis was hardcore.
It's my favorite. That's my exact favorite port.
Hmm.
Cody, were you playing those games back in the? You had to have been.
I was not. I didn't really have a system. Like I had like a Nintendo and like it was called ColecoVision, kind of like Atari. Like it was like we didn't have a lot of money, so we just played it. But I would play like when I went to my friend's house, I'd like to watch him play like I used to like to play like GoldenEye and No Mercy,
Yeah.
stuff like that.
Oh, did you play Turok?
I did not play Turok.
Dude, that was my shit back in the day. Turok, you know what I'm talking about though, right? Turok the Dinosaur
Mhm.
Hunter, then Turok 2, Turok Rage Wars.
Mhm.
Dude, everybody talks about GoldenEye 007, but ask Trey. Back in the day, the real pimps, the real shot callers down south, we were playing Turok Rage Wars. We were playing Turok 3. You know, that was my shit, dude.
I used to like
And it was the same thing. It was pointing and shooting, and like,
Yeah.
dude, you had to be smart to survive them games. Turok was the shit. What are you gonna say though?
I used to play Double Dragon a lot, Double Dragon 2.
Yeah.
And then I used to play the shit out of Aladdin on Genesis. And I used
Thank
to
you.
play-
That's the better port, Brandon. You bastard.
Nope. SNES
Yes, it is,
kills
you
it.
jackass.
SNES kills it.
No,
You
man.
jackass.
I loved Aladdin, and then Lion King was hard, but it was
Yeah.
a cool game.
Lion King was hard as fuck on the SNES.
Yeah. All right, Trey. Was there any other old school movies you had before Brandon goes through his honorable mentions that you could think of? Childhood favorites.
Mortal Kombat, I'd probably say the Purple People Eater.
What are you talking about?
You know what movie I'm talking about?
Is it the
It had
movie's
the
called?
song that went with it? Yeah,
The movie's called The Purple People Eater.
yeah.
Do you guys know what Trey's talking about? I don't know what he's talking about.
It sounds
No.
familiar, yes.
I've
Are
heard
you
the
sh-
song, but I don't remember the movie.
Are you sure that's the name of it?
Yeah, that might have been, I don't know, maybe you were probably just a hair too young to remember it. That was a great movie.
And they played
1988.
they played the song in it.
Dude, what
Yeah.
the fuck is this? This looks incredible.
Dude, I've never seen this movie.
I actually
my
haven't thought
God.
about the movie in years.
Where's Garrett? Garrett knows about this, I'm sure. The purple, is this it, Trey?
This is an AI movie. This just has to be.
This ain't real.
No,
The
it is.
Purple People Eater?
Wow.
Dude, it's got a 4.5 on IMDb, Cody. This is going to be great.
The poster art is fantastic.
Dude, it says distributed by Anchor Bay Entertainment. I'm guessing they put up the DVD.
Ned Beatty's in it.
Oh my God, I've got to see this. Dude, look at this thing. It looks like an evil grimace.
It does look like Grimace with a horn.
Holy shit. I never saw this. At least I must have been not conscious yet. Dude, it's a unicorn one-eyed grimace.
Oh, yeah.
Wow. Holy shit. There you go. I have to check that out, Trey. Anything else or?
Let's see, what was the one with the dinosaurs?
We're back.
Pre-hysteria.
No, not pre. I know neither me or Trey. I have seen Prehysteria when we were a kid. Is it real cartoons or real, Trey? You talking about the Land Before Time?
No, it was real. Remember, it started out with like an egg.
Godzilla '98?
No,
Super Mario World or
Are you
Super
talking
Mario
about-
Brothers?
It was a goofy movie.
It was a what do you mean? You mean it was a comedy or?
Yeah, it was kind of a comedy.
Was it like dinosaurs, like the TV show Dinosaurs?
No,
And
but
it wasn't
that
it wasn't a
was
cartoon,
good.
right?
Trey, I just got those on DVD the other day. The show, The Dinosaurs. I've been watching it. It's fucking great.
Is it called Adventures in Dinosaur City?
I think I am thinking of Dinosaurs, the show. I forgot that it was a show, not a movie.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you are.
TGIF.
Yeah, we used to watch it when we were little, Trey. And hey, they just put them out on DVD at Walmart. I literally went and bought them. And Trey, the third episode, it's so dark. The third episode is about the dad wanting to kill the mother-in-law because she reached a certain age. Where, like in some religions, I forgot what you ever seen Midsummer, Trey?
Midsummer's a great movie. Yeah.
Well, you remember in that scene where the 72-year-old couple they jump off the cliff and kill themselves because the
Right.
third episode in season 1 is literally that. It's all about the dad excited that he gets to kill his mother-in-law because she turned 72. This is a kid's show. You know, that's what it was about.
That's kind of the last episode of David and the Gnome as well. Like they have to like go up.
Yes.
Do you remember that they have to like go up to like the hill or whatnot? Like once one of them is reaching a certain age and it's like they're not coming back and the fox goes back by himself.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's some sad shit.
Damn.
But Christian, tell me when you get to the episode of Dinosaurs where the kid is on steroids. That's like the one I remember the most.
I will. I'm gonna watch more tonight. So real quick, Brandon, let's go, man. Let's see.
Yeah,
what
these
you
didn't
got.
make my top 9, but these are definitely a part of my DNA. So I'm just going to shout them out real quick in a list.
Go ahead,
Milo and Otis, right?
Brandon. Tell people what happened to the animals on Milo and Otis.
Yeah, so tons of cats and dogs died in this fucking movie, like tons of them. Like I don't think it's ever been proven, but like animals were definitely harmed in the making of this movie. I saw the Japanese dub of this, which is the original cut because it's a Japanese film, I believe. I saw the original version of this, and it is the weirdest thing on the planet. The narration's different, obviously. The score is different. The tone is different. The vibe, it's totally not like the American release we grew up with. But shout out to this movie, regardless. The movie itself is good. Blank Man is another shout out right there.
Oh,
there we go.
Cody's got it.
Nice. Fantastic.
This is also on my list. I saw you
Hell
just
yeah.
grab it.
Yeah. 96 is Romeo and Juliet.
Dude, that movie is fucking awesome.
Oh, yeah. Overboard. Absolutely. Steel Magnolias.
Oh, you can slow down a little bit, Brandon. Slow
Fried
down a
green.
little bit.
Okay. Fried green tomatoes.
Why do you
I
have
have two
two?
copies because they had them at the flea market. I'm like, I'm just going to buy both of these. The My Pet Monster movie.
Dude, let me go. Hold on. I got to go grab mine.
Brandon, you got this bad boy right here.
I don't. But that
The
looks
soundtrack?
sweet.
Dude, it's a good soundtrack, man. Prince is on it. Superhero, it's a good soundtrack.
There's no Blu-ray release of that movie yet, is there?
No.
That sucks. I feel like that movie, like, that has such a good cult following. It's well deserving
Nobody talks
Blu-ray.
about it, man.
Yeah. Look at that. Do you have the cuffs?
No, Garrett's got the cuffs.
Ah,
Trey, me and Trey used to work at a thrift store, and so I got to see stuff before it all hit the shelves. And I didn't know what this was. I since have seen the movie, but I love this thing, and I've held on to it. And all the detail on the hands. Look at that. It almost looks like it's dirty. It's not dirty. It's like just scraped off.
Yeah.
But literally, like other than that, like it's in decent shape. I like the big dick nose
Yeah.
on him.
my uncle had one of those growing up. But what's
Dude,
fun about this, Christian, is the old guy in this movie is the old guy from Haunted Mask, the show.
Oh, really?
That's why I think about that guy from this movie.
Yeah, I love my pet monster though, man. He stays in my game room and he's awesome.
I've got to get one of those. Next up is going to be Death Becomes Her. This almost made my top 9. Obviously, the original Texas Chainsaw Massacre, that's part of the DNA for sure. I'm almost done, guys, I promise. Father of the Bride 1 and 2, absolutely ingrained in my DNA. Obviously, Home Alone 1 and 2. Those almost made the cut.
Which
for
one's
sure.
better? Which one is better?
I used to like part 2 better, but now I think I like part 1 again better now.
Dude,
Part
one
2
is-
was so good, but part 1 I think is my number 1 now again.
Have you guys seen? I promise I will never get political on the show, but have you guys seen the dub that somebody did? And it was all over Instagram. Somebody took the scene where Macaulay goes up to Trump and he's like, "Excuse me, sir, where do I go to get to blah, blah, blah?" And what's the line that Trump says in the movie? He's like, down the hall and then hit the elevator, right?
Yeah.
Something like that.
He goes, somebody dubbed this part of the movie and they shared it as like a TikTok. And Macaulay goes up to Trump and he's like, "Excuse me, how do I get to this?" "You go down the hall and then effort right in the you know what he said on Howard Stern?
Yeah,
Dude, it was edited so perfectly.
that's funny.
Anyway,
Hook. Obviously, I'm surprised this didn't make the top 9.
I didn't see that as a kid.
Yeah,
No?
Uncle Buck.
You know what's funny, Brandon? My mom made me watch Bicentennial Man as a kid, and I cried like a bitch.
I hate that movie. I
It's
can't
so
stand it.
sad.
I've
Yeah,
never
Planes and
seen it.
Trains.
Oh my god, it's so sad. It's like the saddest movie I've ever seen. Damn, Brandon.
Yeah. And then last but not least, the masterpiece, the 90s classic. My fiance and I watched this when we were kids, along with her brother, who was one of my best friends growing up.
Oh, so you knew Shanna when you were a little kid?
I did. Yeah, we grew up together, basically. It's not Forrest Gump.
Oh, that's cool.
It's not Splash or anything like that. It's the 90s masterpiece, Spice World.
What?
Almost made the 9. Have you not seen this, Christian?
I know who the Spice Girls are, but
You
I
want a
knew-
batshit insane? You want a batshit insane B movie quality movie? Watch this movie. It's gonna totally flip.
Oh,
your
it's
lunch
not
tray.
so it's not a documentary. It's
No,
a
it's just
movie.
a
No, it's
straight
a
movie that
movie.
came out, and it is batshit insane.
Yeah, they have to like save the world or some shit. It's been a while since I've seen it. I was a huge Spice Girls fan when they came out.
Yeah, I feel like everybody was this. There were certain people that lied about it and certain people that didn't. You know
I
what I
was
mean?
very open about it. Jerry
Um,
Hollowell.
CR says, surprised no one said Ghostbusters or Gremlins. I almost put
Bless you.
Bless
Thank you.
you.
I almost put Gremlins on the list, but I was thinking about it, Trey. Like, how young were we when we saw Gremlins? It was definitely pre-Katrina. It was probably 2002 or 3. But I really wanted to go to like when I was a kid is
Mhm.
where I really wanted to focus on. But my grandma loves Gremlins because she loves the woman who sings the song "Christmas Snow Shining Down." That woman, she used to perform it every year on David Letterman, and we used to always watch it together. I think she did it until she either passed away or until David Letterman retired. But
She played
religiously.
the old like evil lady, right?
no, it's a black woman that sings the song.
Oh,
in the
okay.
beginning. I forget her name. She has a great voice, and she would sing it. She would sing it every year for the last show on David Letterman. The song from Gremlins, the opening. I'm
Mm.
singing "Deck the Halls,"
I-
but it's not like Christmas. That song,
I see. Yeah.
and I love that song. That's my favorite. That's one of my favorite Christmas songs of all time. So I guess Gremlins would definitely be an honorable mention for me.
Mhm.
I have
Gremlins 2 especially though.
I gotta say, like, you know, Rocky 3 really would be a pretty big honorable mention. My mom got me hooked on Rocky. You know, we used to rent that as a kid. Trey, do you remember when we got that Blockbuster pass? And I was telling the guys about this on a show. We rented that movie where those two guys are Siamese twins and they work in a diner. And then they like the whole movie is like they cut themselves apart and then they realize they prefer to be like because they can make like the world's fastest hamburger. What was that movie called, guys?
Stuck on You.
Stuck on You. Remember that movie?
Yeah.
We used to watch that all the time.
It's a hilarious movie.
Trey, do you remember the movie called The Sweetest Thing? With we used to watch that. Scary Movie 2 is one of the we used to watch that all the time.
That was the first DVD I ever got. Was Scary Movie 2.
My strong hand.
It's my strong hand.
Justin Smith says, I'm surprised there was no Terminator 2 mention.
Yeah.
There was, but I feel like Terminator 2 was something we used to go on the ride, the virtual ride at Universal Studios, where it was like an audience row of seats and you'd sit down, but then all of a sudden the ground below you, it was like on this like 3D track. So it did like this while you're in your seat and like you'd be watching the big screen and like you became part of the ride. Same thing with Back to the Future. I almost put Back to the Future 2 on my list and I took it off but I would definitely want to mention Back to the Future 2. And I don't know how you guys will feel about this. I remember when we were little, if Back to the Future 2 came on TV, me and Trey would freak out about it because we felt like at the time, I don't know how you guys feel. I feel like Back to the Future 3 now has the fan base it rightfully deserves. But as kids, way before 2015 happened, that movie seemed like it was all the rage. Like, it's like, here's the real futuristic Back to the Future film. And it was so incredible. But now I feel like it's like my least favorite. And again, they're all masterpieces, really. But like out of the three, Back to the Future 2 is like my least favorite. But when we were little, it was the coolest Back to the Future movie in the world, I felt like. I don't know if you guys were the same way.
No, when I was a kid, I loved the third one for some reason. That was my favorite. And now that I'm older, it's my least favorite.
I'm the opposite. I'm the opposite. I love 3.
Yeah. I mean, I still love it, but it's not
Yeah.
like I like the first 2 better.
Yes, I'll tag you guys. I thought I did. Maybe I hadn't already. I'll make sure it's in the description and everything. People are saying Back to the Future ride was awesome.
It was better than the Simpsons ride is now.
Yes.
Much better.
We used to go on that all the time.
I never got to go to any of those. And dude, did you guys ever go on the Backdraft one? Like the fire, it was like a fire thing. It was based off the movie Backdraft.
I don't know. Wasn't that was more of a show than a ride?
Yeah,
right?
it was more of a show.
I don't think I saw that. And
I think they had Waterworld show, man. Yeah.
Oh, dude, the Waterworld show was incredible. Yeah. Let's see what else people are saying. Batman Returns.
That should have been on my list. I didn't even think about that for some reason. Damn it.
Don't forget Remote. The kid in the attic hiding from the burglars sent down the yodeling puppet on a rope straight. Oh, no, watch this. Trey, if you're really tired, man, you can dip out if you want. I really appreciate you coming on, man.
So if he's asleep when we leave the show, just let him stay on live and we'll all go away. as long as it happens, man.
Yeah. Trey, I know it's really, if you want to dip out, you feel free. I do appreciate you coming on.
Take it easy, Night Owls.
All right, brother.
It was nice meeting you. Yeah.
See you, Trey.
Later, guys.
All right. That was fun.
What's up, Jay? Jay says 3 is always my least favorite. Garrett says, I saw BTTF2 in the night. It opened in Orlando. We went to Pizza Hut and then got solar shades and wore them to the theater.
Wow. That's awesome.
No way Back to the Future 2 is still better than 3. Dude, if I had that memory too, I'd probably agree. I love 3 though. Like, to me,
masterpiece.
This is what I figured from my perspective, Cody. In my opinion, these movies were never about Marty. They were about Doc. And when I guess I got older, that's what I felt like. And when you realize that you, at the end of 3, you can try to figure out life and probability and science and stuff like that. But when you find that woman or whatever, dude, you will throw caution to the wind. What's he say at the end? Even like he starts to see the cracks with his logic, even from the first one, right? Because he's like, "What did you do? I thought you tore up the letter." And he pulled it out and he taped it all back. And he's like, I figured, what the hell? Take chances with life. So to me, the whole movie's, as an adult now, I watch him through the lens of this is all about Doc figuring out how to live his life, not so much Marty.
Yeah.
And that's why I love 3 now. And dude, that fucking train at the end of it, dude, that thing is, I don't know how he powered that thing, but I love 3. They're all great though. They really are.
Yeah.
Back to the Future 3 on Sega Genesis is the most difficult game I've ever played, Brandon. I don't know if either of you guys have played it.
I never played that game.
Dude, played it. I have it on Genesis. You start out the game on a horse with Doc Brown and you have to jump over barrels. It's like you're chasing the ravine, right? What is it called that happened in the movie with the Carla's Ravine? Is that what it was called or whatever? The whole opening game, it's super fast. You have to jump over barrels and duck when bugs come at you. It's a muscle memory game. It's incredible.
Dang. Did you guys ever play? It was like a Chester Cheetah game.
Yes.
On Sega. Do you remember that? Yeah.
Yes. Dude, that was great. The Cool Spot game.
Cool Spot for SNES was awesome.
Dude, incredible stuff. Brandon, what else you have, Brandon?
That's all my honorable mentions.
Yeah.
Batman, Return should have been on there, and Back to the Future 1, 2, and 3 should have all been on there because I've been watching those consistently my whole life. Best trilogy of all time, too, in my opinion.
I agree. Now,
Yeah.
I have a feeling that Cody has a real soft spot for the classic 1993 Mario Brothers movie.
I do.
Who doesn't, dude?
It-
That should have been on my fucking list. Son of a
Cody.
bitch, dude.
Cody, are you bummed out that with the release of the new Mario Brothers film, we never got new physical media for the classic Mario Brothers movie?
Yeah, I was hoping it would, and I was hoping more people would talk about it, or come around to it at least. But no, it's just no one gave a shit about it again, or still when it came out.
Well, it's on Shout Select now, I think. It's on something on a Blu-ray now.
Oh,
You
is
can
it?
Order. Yeah, it is.
I think it's an overseas release, I believe.
Is it?
Yeah.
Damn, Brandon, let him type. He's typing away.
He's like angry typing.
You heard that? Brandon types in automatic. I type in semi-auto.
Yeah, it's a. It looks like it's overseas.
Yeah.
No, wait a minute. This one
Bob-
is.
Bob
Where's this
Hoskins
from?
was a great actor.
It's on Amazon for $21.
Blu-ray.
Came out October 15th, 2021, and it is region. It's region B, so it's overseas. Yeah.
Brandon, can you hit the share screen and you can pull it up and I'll add it just in case people want to
Yeah.
get it.
Yeah. Let me see it. Share screen. How do I do this?
When's the last time you watched this movie, Cody? Present.
It's been maybe 10 years.
Dude, we
It's
got to
been a while.
we have got to revisit. I think you should do the dude revisits, and then episode 1 is the Mario Bros.
Well, dude, I've thought about doing a series called "Is It Really That Bad?" and watch movies that people think are really bad, because I love like Batman and Robin and stuff like that, and I don't think it's that bad. So I would like to go back and watch some of those, or in some movies I haven't seen.
Umbrella Entertainment is who put this
Umbrella,
out.
yeah.
That's Region B, dude.
Yeah, that sucks.
I can get that because I'm region free.
But
Dude,
will
okay, stop. Okay,
Will Xbox One play region free or no?
Well, it just depends. Sometimes, even though stuff is region B, they won't region lock the disc.
Mhm.
Okay.
Because I have Umbrella stuff, and it works on my Blu-ray player.
All right,
Dude,
all right,
people sleep on this movie.
no,
Yeah.
Brandon, go back to the back. Now zoom in, Cody. That middle picture. When I say I had fucking nightmares as a kid,
The Goomba. Yeah.
I mean legitimate nightmares.
That's what I look like when I shave my beard. It's like I have a big body and a small head.
The on-screen snippets horrified me in this movie. At the dump,
Mhm.
those things were terrifying.
I mean, when you guys, all right, thank you, Brandon. I got it.
Okay.
Appreciate that, man. Like when you guys look back, do you almost miss that era of movies where they could take stuff that was like you could argue in 1993 Mario was as popular as Michael Jackson or Aerosmith. Like it literally was pop. It was not even, it was legitimate culture. Everybody knew it the way they knew the name Hulk Hogan and all that. Do you almost miss that era where they could take properties like that and just do stuff that's so out of this world bizarre and it fails, but it's like, holy shit, can you believe we just saw that? I feel like that doesn't happen anymore. I felt we almost had that with Sonic the Hedgehog because they made the hedgehog look like a crack fiend at first. And quite frankly, I wish they would have gone with that look. But do you guys kind of miss that chaotic era of movies?
I
Yeah.
do.
You know what
I
mean?
guess you could say that the most recent example we sort of have of that concept, and this is a terrible example, but it's the only one I can think of. It's the Resident Evil series with Mila Jovovich, because those are batshit insane compared to what the video games were. Like they borrowed certain elements, but they were nothing like the games. They kind of just ran wild for the whole fucking series. So
Yeah,
Yeah.
that documentary I was telling you guys about earlier, the 1982, they were saying back then, they would just make all kinds of movies because there's no algorithm. Now it's like hard to, like, studios won't want to do anything because the algorithm won't like it. I guess there's a bunch of scripts that get turned down that are brilliant, and even the execs think oh wow, this would be a good movie, but it won't work with our algorithm.
Yep.
And it's like, that sucks.
Yeah, thank God we've got some indie stuff coming up and
Mhm.
A24. But really quick, let me get this. Chris Cullen, thank you, man, with the $5 super chat. I think if you grew up with the film, it sticks with you more and you have a special place you go to when you revisit it. Oh, absolutely. And I think that could go for I think that could go for. Somebody was requesting this clip for the super chats, and I didn't do them tonight just to kind of keep the flow going. But let me give this one because people were asking about this classic.
It's always been Creepshow 2. One that we have is great value, so it's a Creepshow 2 also to me just feels like that perfect 80s time capsule. You know what I mean? Like with the Firebird and the second sequence and all that stuff. The one that we have is great value, so it's a Walmart brand. It'll flip your lunch tray.
Classic.
Oh, he's gone.
He'll be back. I think he had to go. Dude, as soon as that super chat started, I just saw Brandon launch out of his chair. Cody, let me ask you real quick, man. And we won't go too much long. We're at 2 hours tonight, guys. Thank you. But the audience is still here. When it comes to like the 90s, we talked about disaster films the other night, and I think you were on there. Have you ever seen the movie called Daylight with Stallone?
Absolutely, yeah. I have the one sheet and everything, man. It's one of my favorites.
I would love to see you display that poster soon because that is a movie I want to get like a really nice physical media release for and just talk about it because I never heard about that movie when I was a kid. I never saw it. It looked like it did not that great box office wise. And it's interesting because you almost thought that Twister would have like started a culture of disaster films, and maybe it kind of did, but not in terms of success, right? Because I never, like I said, never heard of it. Like, dude, talk to me about that movie because to me, Daylight is possibly one of Stallone's pound for pound, just like best movies in my opinion.
Yeah. Yep, it's one of my favorites. It's one of those things where it's Stallone. He's not fighting bad guys. He's fighting the element of being like, there's water being pulled in and he might drown, or else he's going to run out of air and he has to save all these people. So he has all those elements. He's not fighting any bad guys or anything like that. It's a great movie, but I know a lot of people who think it's boring.
It's not.
It's not. It's a great movie, and a young Danielle Harris is in it.
Danielle Harris.
That one guy from Lord of the Rings is in it. Miko, or I forgot his name, but he's also in The History of Violence.
History of Violence. That's a great movie too.
Yeah.
Brad, we're talking about Daylight. Had you seen Daylight, the Stallone movie? Please.
I don't think so.
Please.
Let me look that up real quick. It sounds kind of familiar, but
it's incredible.
It's off topic. I want to point out the fact that sorry to interrupt. Go ahead. Sorry, Cody. Go ahead.
Oh no, I just said the poster is awesome.
I want to see Cody rocking that poster.
96, it says?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
96.
I was gonna say maybe it's because it was at the end of those kind of movies, but I think Twister was 97. So it's like I feel like it came after like Dante's Peak.
I remember this poster.
I don't know why I thought it was 94.
For sure. I don't remember the movie though, but I remember the poster.
Dude, it's literally one of the most breathtaking. I mean, I think the tagline on the poster even says "Hold your breath."
Yeah.
Dude, I'm Brandon. I'm telling you, forget everything you knew about Stallone. He's never done a movie like this before or since.
Right.
And it's truly remarkable. I mean, this is a big budget movie.
And it didn't do well at all.
It's incredible.
No, Fight the Good Fight says, So I Married an Axe Murderer, and that should have been in my top 9 because that's absolutely as much to me as Wayne's World 1 and 2 is. That movie's in my DNA, so I should have had that on my list.
Is that a day one 4K for you guys too?
Dude, absolutely. I don't buy day one 4Ks, but that movie's it's a must. That's a must.
Brent, we got to get you going, man. I feel like you haven't bought any movies in a while.
Yeah, I'm trying to avoid it because, like I said, I don't find value in a lot of these 4K releases at all.
Fair enough. But I mean,
especially since there's not a bunch of new special features and stuff. Like I want some beefy documentaries.
Well, I mean, I think you'll actually be pretty happy with My Best Friend is a Vampire coming out then.
I might grab that at Best Buy. I love that fucking movie.
I was going to show my haul that I got today, but I'm going to do a video on it tomorrow. But I grabbed my favorite Tom Cruise movie today. I got The Firm.
Nice. That's your favorite Tom Cruise movie, huh? Wow.
Yeah, I love it. My Tom Cruise, I'm not really into the action as much as his performance. Like with Rain Man, I watched my MVD 4K of that, and it's just he's so good in that movie. I love Jerry Maguire.
I agree. The action stuff's good, but like Eyes Wide Shut's phenomenal.
Eyes Wide Shut, Vanilla
Interview the
Sky.
Vampire is fucking otherworldly. I should have put that on the list too. Son of a bitch, dude.
See, there's so many to put on your list. It could be 100. For me, it could have been 100.
Exactly. Yeah.
And I want to say really quick, this is a nice comment. 345 Kimbo, you guys are the best for talking nostalgia goodness for old school movies. Some of my favorite movies of all time: Smokey and the Bandit and Porky's.
Yes,
epic films.
Those are great choices.
One of my favorite movies as a kid, guys, I used to rent this at Blockbuster. My mom, I was probably a little young for it, but she let me because she trusted Adam Sandler. But you know, when people talk about Adam Sandler, a lot of times you hear them talk about Billy Madison, Happy Gilmore. But even as a kid, I really loved Big Daddy. And I think that's one of my favorites from him. I really love Big Daddy because it's almost like a drama, right? Like, but it's still so funny when he pulls up to the girlfriend's house and he catches the old man in there. I love how he shakes his hand. He's like, dude, sorry, I thought you were sleeping with my girl. I am.
Oh yeah.
He goes, I am. What's that? I am. And she's like, Sonny, this is what I was trying to tell you. He's got a 5-year plan. What is it? Don't die. You know, just a great movie.
I always use the line, but I wipe my own ass.
But I wipe my own ass. I wipe my own ass.
Frankenstein.
I like it when Rob Schneider shows up as the deli man.
Hip hop anonymous.
Damn you give him the easy ones. And you remember he gives the kid like the slingshot and he's like, all right, Frankenstein, go have some fun. Then he goes in the yard. He like trashed like 12 like birds. And there's dead pigeons in the back. And he's like, give me that. Go inside. Go do whatever you want. But yeah, great. I love Big Daddy. And I think that's got like one of my favorite things about that movie is I forget how funny Jon Stewart is sometimes, and he's like subtle funny, and I just think he's great in that movie too. So, I'm sure both of you guys love this movie, Bulletproof, with Sandler and Damon Wayans. Yeah, great movie.
I saw they made a sequel like a couple years ago. Obviously not with them, but it was like a straight to DVD
one of those
thing.
kind of sequels.
Yeah,
it's like How High 2.
Yeah, that's coming out. Yeah.
What? Just out of curiosity, real quick, because I know we got to wrap it up. This has been a longer show than usual, but I do want to ask this. What is both of y'all's favorite Adam Sandler films?
Little Nicky.
I always forget about Little Nicky.
Hands down.
So mine is going to be either Happy Gilmore or Billy Madison, but it's probably going to be, it's not really an Adam Sandler movie. It's Airheads. It's just a movie I watch on repeat constantly.
Airheads fantastic.
Dude,
but
so good.
I did watch, I would watch Billy Madison, Happy Gilmore all the time.
I've still only seen clips from the movie, but I have a feeling when I finally watch Uncut Gems in its entirety, it'll probably be my favorite one, just because it's like an art house movie, right? So
well,
it's most likely, it's best made movie.
I love seeing actors like that take on serious roles.
Brandon,
he seems like somebody who would kill it.
Brandon, it's really good.
I heard it was phenomenal.
It's really good.
I still want to see. Or go ahead, Cody. Sorry about that.
It gives you anxiety, man. So
I heard that. Yeah, the scenes I've seen have been pretty intense. Like I've seen the ending, so I spoiled it for myself. But I'm still like, there's like not one part of me that doesn't want to see the whole thing.
Yeah. So it's definitely not an easy watch.
Yeah, I want to see, and I'll stop rambling about this in a minute, but I want to see David Spade do something intense like that.
So he has.
Has he really?
Yes, it was a straight to DVD movie. It's called like something Water or something, or Open Range, something like that. I was at Walmart one day and I saw him on the cover. It was like a serious cover. I was like, "What is this?" And I laughed and I was like, "Oh, it's a David Spade." And then I was like, "It's a serious movie." I looked up the trailer and he's like the bad guy, the villain. I took it home and he was the best part of the movie.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's
kind of, it's kind of like Bruce Dern is in it, but it's kind of like, in Becky when Kevin James is the bad guy. Okay. Yeah. So it was kind of cool. It's not as good as Kevin James's performance in Becky, but it was cool to see him do something like that.
I heard that, speaking of Becky, I heard that Sean William Scott is the main bad guy in Becky too.
That's what I've heard as well.
I've got to see those movies now because I love Sean William Scott.
So do I.
Yeah, I got to see that shit.
Right on. And last question of the night. What is the best Jim Carrey film?
Dumb and Dumber.
Dumb and Dumber. For me, it is The Mask. Dumb and Dumber is a great pick.
I'm going to go with...
How about this? Then after you tell your favorite, think about what you think is like the sleeper Jim Carrey film.
Okay.
That's not
Once Bitten.
About.
I got all three of mine.
Once Bitten, the vampire comedy.
The best Jim Carrey movie is Ace Ventura: When Nature Calls.
Is that the first or the second one?
That's the second one.
Second one.
Comes out
the funniest movie is Liar Liar. The most slept on Jim Carrey film is The Cable Guy. Hands down.
You know what's funny, Brandon? I don't know how you feel about the Cable Guy.
Love it.
For a few years, well, I'm sorry, like I know you love it, but for a few years, I would watch it and like it, then watch it again and be like, then watch it again and really like it, then watch it again and be like, I hate it. Then I would flip flop literally every time I'd watch it. I eventually started to get like a kinship with the movie because I was fascinated how I would change my mind every time I watched the movie.
Yeah. There's if you have a minute to talk about this, there's a video essay somewhere about that movie, and it's the road to that movie was so bizarre, and I still remember vividly.
Matthew Broderick too, right?
Right. My mom and I wanted to see it in theaters, and I remember driving in the car one day with her, and she's like, "It's already out of AMC, which is our local theater at the time. It was there for like a week or two, and then it was gone because it bombed so hard." Right.
I saw it in theaters.
Yeah, that's amazing. I wish I
awesome.
could have seen that in theaters, but they marketed that movie as a straight comedy. It should have been marketed as a horror film.
Yes,
At least a thriller.
Yeah,
You know
I was
what
a huge Jim Carrey fan, and I wanted to see the Cable Guy. My sister wanted to see a movie called Eddie with Whoopi Goldberg, where she was like a coach for a basketball team.
Right.
And I was like, no, we got to see Jim Carrey. So we all went to go see Jim Carrey, and we were all the Cable Guy. We were all disappointed. And I was like,
really?
Yeah, but now I like Cable Guy.
Yeah.
But at the time, I was expecting Jim, because this was what the mid 90s.
96, I think, was that.
Yeah, and I'm a little kid wanting to see Ace Ventura or Dumb and Dumber.
Right.
I'm wanting to see him on the big screen,
Yeah.
And I got that, and I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very weird early Jack Black, too.
Yeah, directed by Ben Stiller.
Right. That's very. I always forget that Ben Stiller's the guy in the fucking news screens.
Yeah,
bizarre. That movie's bizarre as hell. That needs a Vinegar Syndrome release. That's what that movie needs for sure. A big box 4K.
I see it getting a Kino.
Is it really?
No, I could see it getting a Kino.
Oh, you can see it.
Yeah.
That has Kino written all over it.
All right, Cody, you go next. Your favorite again. Your favorite, and then what? Brandon, you did 3. How did you?
I did the best, the funniest, and the most slept on.
Okay.
So, it's up to you guys how you want to do it.
Okay, cool. Cody, let me get this really quick, Cody, before you go. Thank you so much, Mike Mack, with a $10 super chat. Great stream tonight, guys. What's going on here? What's going on here? Can you not talk to me? Oh man, I have not gotten that out of my head.
Dana Carvey over here.
Yeah.
Christian Carvey.
Oh shit. Thank you so much, Mike. Let me give you a little something real quick. Let me give you a quick one, brother. I appreciate you.
This fucking fantastic. No mustache.
I love it. Brandon keeps saying I'm gonna shave it off next week. Thank you, Mike.
I'm gonna shave it off next week for sure.
All right, Cody. Best favorite Jim Carrey movie? What you think the legitimate funniest? I like that. What do you think the funniest is?
Yeah.
And then most underrated.
Most slept on.
Yeah, so Dumb and Dumber is a movie I can watch over and over again. Like even now, if it's on, like TBS, I can watch it over and over again. And then the most slept on is probably Once Bitten. But I did see someone mention a movie I watched a lot as a kid was Earth Girls Are Easy.
Yeah.
So when they announced Earth Girls Were Easy was coming out,
I got over there.
Yeah, I was like, oh, all of a sudden everyone loved the movie. And I was like, oh man, I feel like nobody knew what the movie was. But yeah, that's one. And I love him as the Riddler.
Yes.
Oh yeah,
maybe that's another underrated one.
Living Color is a great show. Fire Marshal Brandon, do you know that Fire Marshal Bill is in Liar Liar?
Yeah, I told you guys about that during I think it was a live
You did.
show.
It was you. Okay, you're the one who told me.
I think we watched the scene and it blew everybody's fucking mind.
Yeah, it's so crazy.
I didn't know that until I saw it recently on I was like a piece of trivia. I was like, "There's no way that's real."
Mm-hmm.
It was fucking real,
dude. And he was all like, "I'm gonna do this, and one day in 20 years, someone's gonna notice." And someone did.
How did nobody see that in theaters? Like, how did it? I just don't understand how that bypassed everybody.
Mm-hmm.
That's bizarre to me.
And guys, listen, I'm gonna add let me go next, and I'm gonna add the category. Then we're done for real. All right. So my favorite is The Mask. His genuine funniest movie, I'd have to say, is Dumb and Dumber. And I think the most slept on movie for me would have to be. It's tough. I think his most slept on movie is still Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind.
I thought you were going to say Man on the Moon.
No, not Man on the Moon, because to me, Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind, that's my wife's favorite Jim Carrey film, and she's the one who showed it to me. And then when she told me, I wonder if a lot of people that aren't interested in seeing him do like an indie film, like, you know, for him to do that when he was still super popular like that, because he just loved the script so much, says a lot about how he felt about the movie. And I think it is really an amazing movie. That
I've still never seen it.
Did you see The Majestic with him?
Yes.
I did.
But yeah, I still say Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind is most slept on film. Now, here's the last category, and I'm going to have Cody go first. The worst Jim Carrey movie.
Dang, that's hard because I'm a huge Jim Carrey movie.
Mhm.
Or Jim Carrey fan. I'm gonna have to say number 23.
You don't like that movie? Brandon
I
loves
saw-
that movie.
I saw it
Oh,
once in
no.
theaters.
I didn't love it.
I saw it once in theaters, but that's it because I have a soft spot. Like even Mr. Popper's Penguin, I thought was hilarious, but I'm a Jim Carrey mark.
Fair enough. Brandon, what do you think is his least funniest?
I'm
or
going back
worst
through his
movie?
list right now, and I think the one that I saw that I absolutely hated, because I haven't seen the Penguins one, but I despised Fun with Dick and Jane.
Oh,
I thought it was
I
absolutely
love that
garbage.
movie.
So do I.
I could not watch it.
Are
dude.
you
I don't
kidding
know
me?
what it
When he goes across the street and steals the
was. Dude,
grass?
I
and,
could not.
oh
I
my
don't know.
god, I love that
I
movie.
couldn't do it, man. I would
loved
say a
it.
close second was Series of Unfortunate Events. as far
Lemony
as worst.
Lemony Snickets. Say it fast, Brandon. Say Lemony Snickets, a series of unfortunate events fast
No,
3 times.
I
Go.
can't. I can't. I'll just
Come on, Cody,
no.
go for it.
Lemony Snickets and unfortunate events.
I
don't even know the original
That wasn't
title,
even
so-
that fast either. All right. So, Cody, you said the worst to you was
Number 23.
Number 23.
Damn.
Brandon, you said
Fun with Dick and Jane.
mine is going to be controversial because this movie was, to me, it was the biggest letdown, in my
Don't-
opinion,
don't
was
you
Dumb and
dare.
Dumber 2.
Oh, okay.
I hated Dumb and Dumber 2.
I
I
like
was-
it.
The only thing that I thought was funny, legitimately, was when he says psych after acting like he was a vegetable for years. But I just did not think that movie was anywhere as funny as it needed to be. It's the biggest letdown for me. Does that mean I think it's the worst? Maybe not really. But I was so disappointed by Dumb and Dumber 2. I just can't watch it ever again. I was just devastated by it.
You know
That's
Bill
just me.
Murray's in that movie?
Is he?
Yeah, he's the guy making he's like in the hazmat suit making the meth in the
Oh, shit.
apartment. Yeah. Yeah, there's
Damn.
like there's a bunch of cameos in that movie that you have no it's a special feature on the Blu-ray, which I'm sure you don't have.
No, I don't. Brandon, you sounded like you were gonna say "Don't say it," and what movie were you about to reference?
I thought you were going to say The Grinch was his worst one.
No, Grinch
That's
is
what
great.
I thought you were going to say. Okay, good.
That's one of his best character performances,
call.
I think. You know,
Yeah.
I gotta say that Once Bitten.
Mhm.
I hope MVD gets it and they like do a nicer release, because Once Bitten came in like a double pack and it just wasn't. I want them to do something a little bit more prestige for that movie because I actually think that movie's really funny. Have you guys seen Pink Cadillac?
Mm-mm.
Oh my God, you need to, because Jim Carrey performs his short arm Elvis in the movie. Have you guys seen? You know what I'm talking about with the short arm Elvis?
Uh-uh.
So short arm Elvis is a character that Jim Carrey created, where he has his hands like this. This is not going to be funny, but like he does like a performance. You have to watch Pink Cadillac. It's a Clint Eastwood
Okay.
movie from 1989.
And Jim Carrey's in it?
Jim Carrey's in it, and he's in there for like 40 seconds.
Doing that?
Fucking hysterical. You have to see Pink Cadillac. It's actually a pretty funny little action comedy film too.
Well, that's cool. I do want to bring up a movie though, that this was a movie that nobody, like my whole life I talk about it and no one would ever know what I was talking about. It was called Dr. Jekyll and Miss Hyde. It was with
That Jim did?
I remember that movie.
No, Jim Carrey wasn't in it, but it was Sean Young who was detective who was in Einhorn or Finkel, Ray Finkel
Dude,
from
I forgot all about this movie.
Yeah, where like it's like the guy from Wings, Tim Daly. He's like a scientist, and he makes this potion and makes him become a girl. And then
Yes.
It's just it's a crazy movie that nobody knows. But yeah, it's called
Wow.
Dr. Jekyll and Miss Hyde. And so, anyways, I couldn't find this movie forever. This was probably like 2005. I see it on Best Buy's website. I order it. I'm like, I'm finally getting the movie. The movie gets to me, and it's Land Before Time like 6. So I go to Best Buy and say, "Hey, you guys sent me this movie." And they would not believe me that they sent me this movie instead of the other movie. And so I finally got it. Like in 2020, I finally got myself a copy of it.
Dude,
But-
Cody, I'm so glad you brought that up.
Mhm.
Because I forgot all about that movie's existence.
It's a fun movie. But
That came out in
nobody
86.
talks-
Holy shit. Oh, it's 95.
No,
No,
90s.
95.
Yeah. I was like, no. It was like right after Ace Ventura.
Dude, that's insane.
Mhm. I have it on DVD now, but it took me like 20 years to getting it.
I saw that movie up teen times on cable or something as a kid.
Mhm.
That movie was on all the time.
Yeah, so it's like this guy's like eating dinner, he's like growing boobs and stuff, like, you know, his hair
Yes.
is growing out. Yeah, it's one of those kind of comedies.
All right, Brandon, I know you're tired. Cody, it's not as late by you, so I don't feel as bad. I'm glad you're here. Brandon, can I ask you one more question before you wrap? We still have a great audience tonight. I know you got a lot to do tomorrow. Can you do one more question, Brandon?
I can do 5 more questions. You guys
Same here, I'm
dictate when
good.
we end.
All right,
I'm
fuck
good.
it. All right, we'll go. I won't go too much longer. And I want the chat involved in this. And you guys have been great. You guys are telling the Truman Show, Cody. The Truman Show got mentioned like 10 times already.
Mhm. It's a
I
good
mean,
movie.
it's a good movie, right?
In case I don't see you, good morning, good evening, and good night. That's a line I do all the time. Yeah.
Let's talk a little about a few more comedians because this is important to me. What is the best and the worst Eddie Murphy film? Chat as well.
Ooh,
There's an
holy shit.
easy best for me, and none of you guys are going to agree with me, and that is The Nutty Professor. That is my all-time favorite Eddie Murphy film.
It is good, but he ruled the 80s. So.
He did, but dude, The Nutty Professor
Mhm.
is fucking hysterical.
Honestly, that's probably the movie I've seen the most, but I love Coming to America.
Classic.
Yeah.
But did you like that?
But that's
did you-
but that's the boring answer, you know. Coming to America is the boring answer. Oh, Norbit is my least favorite.
I
did
saw
see
it,
someone
I
say
saw it in
Norbit.
the theater. Akeem, what's up, Akeem, man? I saw Norbit in the theaters.
I saw it in theaters once and I did not like it. Maybe if I saw it now, I'd like it, but I didn't like it back then.
So, what's your favorite answer? Coming to America?
Yeah, and then probably Norbit.
Norbit's
But
your
dang, I
favorite?
really like Beverly Hills Cop though. So dang, I don't know, man. So yeah, it would probably be Coming to America, and
What
then
do you hold on? Do you agree that Beverly Hills Cop 2 is as good or better than the first one, or do you think that the
Yes,
first
yes.
one is?
yeah, I'm also a fan of the third one too. A lot of people don't like the third.
Did he direct the third one himself?
No,
No,
John
but
Landis.
but I think he made a lot of changes to it.
Okay.
Mhm.
Beverly Hills Cop. Akeem says he doesn't like Beverly Hills Cop 3. People are saying Norbit.
Nobody does.
Hopefully part 4 is good.
All right, Brandon. Let's.
Yeah,
all right. You go ahead, Cody. I'm sorry.
Oh yeah, see, I totally forgot that it's already done, filmed, and everything.
Yeah. I'm just glad that John Ashton and Judge Reinhold are back. Thank
Yeah.
God. Hopefully it's
Yeah.
good.
I'm a
Hopefully
big-
it's good.
I'm a big Judge Reinhold fan. People don't.
Yeah, I
know.
was really upset that he wasn't in the Santa Claus TV show because I
Oh,
like the
okay.
show a lot, but he wasn't in there. But
Okay, so the show is good. I didn't
I
watch
loved
it yet. I was gonna watch it this year because I think
Yeah,
it's coming back again for another season.
yeah,
right?
season 2. Thank God that show got renewed. I loved it. It was fantastic. I'm gonna say I think my favorite Eddie Murphy movie is tied. It's Coming to America, tied with Beverly Hills Cop.
Mhm.
Interchangeable with Beverly Hills Cop 2. I agree that part 2 is fantastic. I think the worst one he's ever done that I've seen, because I haven't seen Norbit, and this might be controversial because I know a lot of people like it, is I think the worst one I've seen is Bowfinger.
Bowfinger.
Yeah, I can't stand that movie with Steve Martin.
I have not seen that one.
It annoyed the
Or
crap out of me.
Pluto Nash. Remember that one?
I do.
I never
remember that one.
saw it, but it didn't look like it would be a good one.
Yeah.
It was pretty lackluster from what I remember.
Mhm.
2002. I'm gonna say something that's gonna really piss you guys off, but I don't think you're gonna agree with me at all. Some of Eddie's Murphy's best work he ever did. Somebody in the chat, I'm begging you,
Don't you say
please back
Shrek.
me up.
I was just gonna say
It's
this is Donkey
is
from
Shrek.
Shrek.
God damn
It is. It is.
Everything
Brandon.
leads back to Shrek. I
And in
can't
the
get away
morning-
from it.
Brandon, and in the morning, I'm making waffles.
I'm making waffles.
Dude, he's so funny as Donkey.
Yeah,
You gotta
he
have
is
the
good. He
at
is
the end of the
You know what's good, Brad? Parfait. I love a good old parfait. Everybody likes a good old parfait.
She called me a noble steed. I love that movie. I love and hate that series.
Okay. Here's the thing. We'll do Bill Murray next. My favorite Eddie Murphy film is The Nutty Professor. I think his worst film is Daddy Daycare. I hate that movie so much.
I haven't seen it either.
I saw it in theaters. I liked it.
I just thought it was like the most, like, I was like, what happened to Dangerous? Eddie Murphy was dangerous, man. I mean, you guys have seen Eddie Murphy Raw. I think it's one of the funniest. That's, and I still feel like Nutty Professor was dangerous because Buddy Love was like, that character was crazy in Nutty Professor, you know? I just was, oh man. By the time you get to something like Daddy Daycare, it's just like, oh God, this is like the PG, the G version of Eddie Murphy. I do like Vampire in Brooklyn, Ben Grimm. I think it's a pretty good movie. And Shrek does have a strong grip. Brandon can't help it. He loves Shrek, but he keeps acting like he doesn't.
Do the roar. I can't.
A girl dragon. Of course you're a girl dragon. Hercules. All right. Did everybody go? Was I done? Released.
I think that was it. You wanted to move on to Bill Murray or something.
Bill Murray. This is going to be a great one. The best Bill Murray film, the worst Bill Murray film, and the most slept on Bill Murray film. I think Cody's going to come in swinging with his favorite Bill Murray film. I don't think it's going to be what people are thinking.
So my favorite, first, Cody? Yeah, my favorite Bill Murray movie is going to be What About Bob?
Yes.
Classic. Richard Dreyfuss.
And then I think his most slept on movie is Scrooged.
Did you saw that's getting a 4K this year? Man.
Yeah. It's getting more and more popular.
That's a horror movie.
Stop it, Brandon.
I don't care what anybody said. That is a horror movie.
It's along the same lines as
Beetlejuice.
Gremlins.
I agree. Okay.
Yeah.
This is what I like to call it, Brandon. I don't call it horror movies, but this is what I call it. I think you can meet me halfway. Movies that horror fans adopt as their own. Is the long form expression of how I describe movies like that.
Yeah.
Or
family-friendly horror.
Brandon, every time we do a Planet Dirty from now on, you're like, Christian, what are we going to do next time? I'm going to be like, they've got to be so scared to miss it. You know, like, remember when he's like talking about
he freaks out.
Yeah. Scrooge. So hold on, Brandon, because Cody's got to go one more.
What was the last one?
The worst Bill Murray film.
Oh,
don't you say Ghostbusters 2?
No, because I actually love Ghostbusters 2.
Because he hates that movie.
Do you, Brandon?
No. Bill Murray does.
Oh, Bill Murray. Oh, okay.
He's never done a sequel again besides that.
Yeah, maybe I would have to maybe Osmosis Jones.
What did you have? A voice?
He was himself, and then there was like a cartoon living inside him. It was like a cartoon world. I saw it once, and I don't think it's the worst, but there's a lot that I haven't seen that I don't think I'd like. So right now, I'm just gonna go with that with Osmosis Jones. Yeah, it was like there was like all these cartoons living inside of him, and he was like the vessel walking around. Or actually, Garfield 2 is my least favorite from him. Actually,
Brandon loves that movie.
I haven't seen Garfield 2.
I like.
I wasn't a fan of the first one.
Oh, okay. I do like the first one. So I think his worst is Garfield 2.
What were the categories for this one? The same ones, right? Like funniest.
Yeah.
And I've actually got an added category for this as well. We're gonna do.
Okay.
Brandon, I'll go next, and you can. Okay. We'll save you for last. My favorite Bill Murray film is my favorite Bill Murray film is Ghostbusters, guys. That's the worst answer you could possibly give. I just love him in Ghostbusters.
But he's more of an does that count though? Because it's more of an ensemble cast.
But dude, he's got. I can give you so many quotable lines from him in Ghostbusters 1.
You're right. That's right. Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure.
I trust you'll be moving us to better quarters on campus. You'll be moved off campus. I love him in Ghostbusters 1.
Mm-hmm.
So much. I think what were the categories that I had so far? Your favorite, the most slept on,
slept on, and funniest, or no, worst.
Favorite slept on and worst. Okay, so I think the most slept on Bill Murray film is this movie called Saint Vincent. Came out in 2014. Have you guys seen that?
Mm-mm.
He plays like a
with Melissa McCarthy. It looks good.
I liked it a lot. It was 2014, and Bill has been able to stay funny without, because he never changed. He really plays almost like the same kind of character in a lot of movies, with the exceptions of your, Bob Better. what's the movie with Richard Dreyfuss that just slipped my mind? Where he
What
plays
About
like,
Bob?
What About Bob? He plays a really eccentric. That's different for him.
Mhm.
I think St. Vincent's slept, but I think he has a couple slept on movies, especially in latter day. I love the movie Rock the Casbah, where Bill Murray gets dumped in a third world country, and it's a pretty suspenseful movie. Actually, I liked it a lot. And the funniest Bill Murray movie. I don't know.
Yeah, I got 4 categories for mine.
Wait. So the categories that I came up with were
Funniest, slept on, worst, and
okay.
best.
I'll tell you the worst movie he ever did. The
Mhm.
Man Who Knew Too Little.
That's
from
my pick.
1987.
My
It's
son of a bitch.
Fucking
It's
terrible.
I don't think I've seen it.
It's terrible.
Not good.
It's terrible. Terrible.
It's bad.
And I think I just want to mention Lost in Translation. I love that movie to death. And I agree, Space Jam is his most underrated work he's ever done. No, but
yeah, dude, he's in Wild Things.
Wild Things.
Yes.
It throws me off every time when he pops up in that movie.
He's in Charlie's Angels too, right? 1, 2, and
Yes,
3.
2000.
He was
yeah.
just in the first one because he
Just in the first one.
wasn't very liked on set, so they was asked to return.
Uh,
Bernie Mac came in instead.
Brandon's favorite movie is The Dead Don't Die with Bill
No,
Murray.
I haven't seen that.
Oh, dude, it's fucking terrible. That movie's so bad it feels like it makes fun of you for actually wasting your time watching it.
Yeah.
I've
It's
heard
bad.
it was bad, and it looked so promising because of the cast, but I've heard it was just garbage.
All right, go ahead, Brandon.
My favorite Bill Murray vessel is Scrooge. Hands down. The funniest Bill Murray movie is What About Bob? I think the worst one, as we talked about, is Man Who Knew Too Little. And this is going to sound stupid, but I think the most slept on Bill Murray vessel, because it was really popular at the time, but nobody talks about it anymore, and that's Kingpin.
Oh, the
Nobody talks
Woody
about that
Harrelson film.
Yeah, the bowling movie has the fucking he bowls the
comb
strike
over.
and his toupee's comb overs coming undone and shit. Like, yeah,
Yeah.
he actually made all those strikes in a row too. Like that was a real thing. That wasn't expected to happen.
That's
Dude,
crazy.
That's a great 90s comedy.
It is.
Lynn Shay was so disgusting in that movie too. I mean, on purpose, of course.
Yeah, the Farley brothers, man, I love their shit.
Yeah.
That movie should have a sequel for sure.
It would
Yes.
be
Max
it would
Thunderdome
pro-
brought up Kingpin.
it would probably end up like Dumb and Dumber 2 though,
Mhm.
which I like, but most people didn't.
The only reason I didn't want to bring up Caddyshack, I think Bill Murray is great in that film, but to me, it's the judge and Rodney Dangerfield that are the stars.
Yeah.
The judge is actually the judge is really kind of the funniest in that movie, if I'm being honest, because his timing on everything is so great. Gambling is illegal in Bushwood, and I never slice. Damn. I love it.
You know what's even more slept on, I think, than Kingpin maybe is Meatballs.
Stripes.
Because nobody talks about
Meatballs.
Meatballs at all.
Nobody talks about those sex comedies anymore.
No.
Yeah.
Like those are just kind of like
Meatballs, shit like that. Yeah.
yeah, they're like in a taboo corner.
I have Meatballs on like a DVD that I used to watch a lot.
Did you guys get the Animal House 4K that just came out? Because I wanted to get it and I forgot about it.
I never
I
got it
didn't.
yet. You say it just came out, Brandon. That came out like 2 or 3 years ago.
Did it? No way.
Yeah,
I thought it came like 6 months ago.
I
I
honestly,
think a Steelbook just came out, didn't it?
I need to grab that movie because that's dude. Just imagine if Belushi had lived
Mhm.
and he could have kept that trajectory going, dude.
Yeah.
He's so funny.
I see Ben Grimm mentioned Larger Than Life. I haven't seen that movie in years, but I remember liking it as a kid. I actually almost bought the one sheet of it because it was really cheap. Do you remember that where he has to transport elephant?
Yeah. Okay, guys. If you're down for a couple more questions, Brandon, the chat's still with us.
Yeah.
We're
Why not?
moving on to a couple more actors.
I just want to watch Bill Murray movies now, man.
All right. Good evening, John Doe Juggalo. The best Chevy Chase film, the worst Chevy Chase film, and the most slept on. Same thing. This is fun.
Yeah.
So just those 3 categories, right?
Mhm.
Yes. I can easily start this out if you guys want me to. The best Chevy Chase film is Vacation, the first Vacation. The first Vacation. That's the funniest Clark Griswold ever was, in my opinion. The worst Chevy Chase film is probably something like A Funny Money that he did in 2005, where he just really couldn't get good movies anymore. Or like Cops and Robertsons with the Jack Palance. It's just, man, it's hard to. I want to like it, but it's hard.
Okay, because I was gonna say that's probably my most slept on from him is probably Cops and Robertson. But
Fair enough.
I have not seen that since the VHS days, so it's been since the 90s.
I think I'll say Funny Money because that's from 2005 and it's shitty. I like it, and I think his most slept on film till this very day is Memoirs of an Invisible Man. I think it's one of John Carpenter's most incredible movies he's ever done as well, which is even weirder. The fact that Memoirs is slept on because it's a John Carpenter film. And I see people all the time say I'm a John Carpenter guy, but they haven't seen the movie. You got to see all his movies if you're going to call yourself a Carpenter guy. So I love Memoirs of Invisible Man. I still think it's his most slept on movie for sure. Mm-hmm. So, but Brandon, don't you even try to tell me Christmas Vacation is better than Vacation? Yeah, I know you're going to try to.
The best Chevy Chase movie is Christmas Vacation.
Stop, dude. No, you have the most nostalgia for it. Let's call a spade a spade.
I think he's absolutely fucking hysterical in Vegas Vacation or Christmas Vacation, excuse me. He's hysterical in the first one too, but Christmas Vacation just has it for me.
I agree.
The nostalgia factor too, but I think his most slept on film is probably Foul Play. I love that movie.
Goldie, yeah.
Yeah. And I think the worst film is probably Caddyshack 2. You know, I haven't seen his later stuff that you guys were talking about.
Time out. Caddyshack 2 does something, though, Brandon, you have to give it credit for. There's a point to where a movie's so unfunny that it actually becomes funny. And I think Caddyshack 2 crosses. Come on, think about it. I actually think Caddyshack 2 does cross that portal a little bit. Well, it's so funny that it's funny.
We talked about Caddyshack a couple months ago, and I mentioned that I hadn't seen part 2 in a long time. I couldn't remember it, and I caught up with it recently, like a month or two ago. I couldn't get through it. I just couldn't get through it.
It's so unfunny.
I was just bored. I didn't even find it funny.
Come on, dude, how could you not watch it just to see the Unsolved Mysteries guy in it?
It just, I don't know. I don't know if I even was. I don't remember him in the movie at all. Was he in the whole thing or just the? Yeah, I don't.
Yes.
There you go. That tells me everything I need to know. I just out of sight, out of mind.
But what do you think is this? Okay, so Vacation is your favorite. Before we get to Cody, think about this as well. If Vacation is your favorite, you think the most slept on is
Foul Play,
and
the worst is Caddyshack 2.
But what is his funniest movie?
His funniest
think it's
movie.
Christmas?
No, I think if we're going on my just funniest, I might go Three Amigos.
Mm-hmm. Classic.
Yeah.
I mean, Justin Smith just said that because I haven't answered that yet, and I want to answer it. And it's not Three Amigos.
We need Three Amigos return. I'm just throwing that out there. Okay, move on.
I think his funniest movie to me is Funny Farm. I adore Funny Farm so much.
I have not seen it.
I don't remember much about it.
Oh my god! Please do.
My local theater has the poster up permanently up there.
Dude, you need to get it for me. Dude, I'm serious. Funny Farm got great. It was very, very, very modest at the box office at the time, but the reviews for it were sensational. Siskel and Ebert gave it 2 thumbs up. I mean, it's really funny.
So what is it like a Money Pit kind of movie where they move into a house and it's
kind of
broken down?
You know what? That's a pretty fair. So basically what is his name is John Farmer, and he's a sports writer from New York City or Chicago or New York. I always get him confused, especially when they shoot in New York and call it Chicago and shoot in Chicago and call it New York. But he moves to the country to start a family, and he's going to become an author. And he's a great prolific sports writer. And so he gets a good advance to write his first novel, but he moves to this house and everything looks so perfect at first. And all of a sudden there's snakes in the pond behind the house. The house they have in the house, the phone they have in his house that gets installed is a pay phone. So whenever he tries to use the phone, he's got to put money in it. The neighbors are all insane that live around him. He can't write his novel. The people that want him to write the novel start showing up to the house. He gets tricked into eating disgusting food at these little hometown diners, and they don't tell him what it is. I think it's legitimately hysterical. I watch it all the time. It's my wife's favorite Chevy Chase film. We love it so much. But But yeah, but there's more. But I want to wait because I want you to go, Cody. But there's another film nobody's mentioned yet that I think is hysterical. But go ahead, Cody.
Yeah, so I think his best is going to be Christmas Vacation. His most funny is going to be Three Amigos. His slept on is going to be Big Trouble, or Nothing But Trouble. I'm sorry, Nothing But Trouble.
Oh, yes.
And then his worst, I actually one of my I'm not gonna do my worst, but okay. So I think I'm gonna switch my most slept on is gonna be Man of the House from the 90s.
Slept on?
Yeah, I think that's his most slept on. I love that movie. Nobody even talks about that.
Well, that's one of the only Chevy Chase films that he did that was
Mhm.
actually profitable in the decade.
Oh, of the 90s? Dang.
I
Yeah,
gotta
that was a
change.
good
I
one.
gotta change my answer.
Yeah,
I
I
really
don't know
do.
what my least favorite would be. It would probably have to be like
Caddyshack 2.
I haven't seen Caddyshack 2. So
Watch
maybe
it.
Snow Day or something.
Let me
Snow
Snow
Day.
Days. Oh, he's the
Holy
weather
shit.
guy.
Yeah, the
Listen,
other guy in Snow Day.
Listen, I've got to change. I have to change my list. So I've already beaten the dead horse to my audience about Memoirs of Invisible Men. So I'm talking to an audience that has probably seen this movie already. Strike that. My favorite movie is Vacation. His funniest movie is Fletch, and his most slept on movie is Spies Like Us. That's my answer. That's my answers. Because Spies Like Us is fucking hysterical. And Dan Aykroyd is in that movie with him. And Dan is consistently funny. I think both of you would agree with that.
Mhm.
Dan, even in bad movies, Dan Aykroyd's still funny. So
Yeah, man, I wish he would do more. Like he
Yeah.
stopped headlining movies in like the early 90s. Like,
Nothing But Trouble really killed it.
yeah,
It really was the decline, unfortunately.
the audience, the world wasn't ready for it, Brandon.
No. That should have been released as Vulcanvania in October.
That's what he
not-
wanted. Yeah,
Yeah, because that poster art was fucking sick.
it's incredible.
dude,
I have the
saw,
laser disc for that too.
Yeah, I saw he got the idea from watching. He was watching Hellraiser when it was in theaters. That's where he got the idea to start to make a movie like that.
It's
I
incredible.
thought I saw that on Joe Blow. I think they were talking about it.
All
Yeah.
around the
It
world.
just sucks that
same
like
song.
that killed it. Kind of killed his spirit too, because he kind of like when
Mhm.
somebody will tell him that I love Nothing But Trouble, he'll be like,
Why?
I'm sorry you hate such a bad movie. It's like you could tell that the studios just totally
Mhm.
killed his soul because he put so much of his soul into that movie and he's got
Yeah.
wrecked.
Well, it's interesting because Warner Brothers owed him a favor, from what I understand. So that's why they let him do that movie. Kind of what James Wan was owed a favor from whatever company it was to do. What's that movie he did with the little demon person in the backside of their head?
Malignant.
Malignant. Like that's
Yeah.
clearly a movie. You can tell when it's a movie that the studio has no involvement in because it makes no sense.
Mhm.
You know. Yes, Tupac was in Nothing But Trouble.
He was. Yeah.
Yeah, but I think Fletch is one of his best movies too. I really
Did you
do.
like Fletch Lives?
Of course. I think it's almost as good as Fletch.
There's two Fletches, right? And then the remake with John Hamm.
I never watched it, and I don't want to watch it.
Yeah.
No
I
disrespect.
didn't know it was remade. I didn't know it was remade.
Yeah, it
quietly
was
came
like
out.
it was like last summer. I remember I was at the movie theater. I looked up. I was like, Fletch, and I looked it up, and I was like, holy shit! I didn't even know they remade it with John Hamm.
It quietly snuck out, Brandon.
Yeah.
It's like the Overboard remake. I never saw that either, but that was a quiet.
So that was actually pretty hilarious. I like.
Was it really?
Yeah, I like the actor that's in it. I know you don't like what's her name from Scary Movie though? Anna
Not
Faris.
really. She kind of
Yeah,
annoys me.
Yeah, she's in it, so I don't know if you'd like it, but he's hilarious. He's hilarious in everything.
I know they quietly remade Father of the Bride too with Andy Garcia. I'm never
Oh.
seeing that shit, but they quietly remade that movie. So
What
It's
are
still-
you guys?
it's
What are you
still
guys? What are you guys' thoughts on Chevy in Dirty Work playing the shady doctor?
I need to rewatch that movie.
So do
Dude,
I.
Dirty Work is classic.
I don't
have
remember
it
much
too.
about it. Yeah.
I have
Such
like
a
a
good
double
movie.
pack, like that and Bully. I have on like a double pack.
Yeah. All right, you guys good for one more?
Yeah.
Cody.
Mhm.
All right. Let me do something really tough. Let's see. All right, I got something. This is going to challenge Brandon. You ready? We're gonna do one more actor, guys, in the audience. The best, worst, and most slept on Keanu Reeves movie.
The best, worst, and most slept on.
Keanu Reeves film. One of the only actors that's been able to just truly keep a fairly well consistency, quality, and keep a grip on the audience to always want to see him.
All right, I'll go first. I think his best movie is Speed. His most slept on movie is a movie a lot of people don't like or never even heard of. Is called The Watcher, where he's like where he's like a killer and stalks people.
Yeah, that is a good
He has
movie.
the sword and stuff, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And what was it was
best?
Best slept on, and then his worst.
Yes. Take your time.
Dang, I don't see. It's hard for me to think of worse sometimes. I can't think. Oh, because dang, because Hardball is a great movie too that nobody talks about. And then Babes in Toyland's another movie he's in that nobody talks about. He's in a lot of bangers, man. I don't know what would be his. Oh, probably The Lake House.
Is his worst?
His worst, yeah. So those are my picks.
Fair enough. Brandon, you want to go next?
You can go. I'm still trying to consolidate
I'm so sorry. The movie I don't like from him is The Matrix. I forget he's in The Matrix. I'm not a fan of The Matrix.
Wow.
So that would be my worst movie that he's in is The Matrix.
I know a lot of people who don't like those fucking movies,
Mm-hmm. I saw it once when I was a little kid, and
I think they are very overrated.
Mm-hmm.
But
and then I saw the other two in theaters, and I just don't like them.
Okay. I'll go next if Brandon's not ready.
Yeah, go ahead.
Free pizza.
The best Keanu Reeves film to me
Don't you dare.
is Speed. No, it's not. If I'm being dead ass, guys, I'm just gonna say it. To me, I think the best movie he's done is John Wick. I fucking love it. I mean, and the interesting thing is I love Speed, don't get me wrong. I love Speed, but John Wick, I hate, and I get flack for saying this sometimes, but also some people in the chat may agree with me. I am not a fan of any of those Batman films in the 2000s. The fight scenes are edited so quickly, you don't understand a second of what's going on. Mm-hmm. None of it. So I hate that. My action stuff, I like choreographed. I like fighting. I want to be able to absorb, feel like I'm absorbing the punishment that these guys are going through. The Batman stuff, and I use those as an example, but I challenge anybody to watch The Dark Knight or whatever when a fight scene's going on and try to make sense of what happens. Try. I can't. It's like my biggest pet peeve. So I refuse to watch the John Wick films because my wife was like, Christian, this is 80s and 90s action. I said, I doubt it. She goes, no. This is 80s and 90s action. She had to strap me down almost and make me watch the film. And I was blown away. I saw John Wick 1, loved it so much. I saw John Wick 2, loved it. I saw 3 and liked it even more than 2 because 3 really leverages into kind of kung fu and martial arts and really gets professionals in there for him to work with. And I loved 3. Still need to see 4. I need to go grab it on 4K. I just got consumer anxiety because I had 17 editions of it when it came out. Yeah. So my favorite is John Wick. His most slept on is River's Edge or The Replacements, the football movie. And his worst film, even though I love the movie, is Dracula. He doesn't have an accent at all in that film. I can't help it. It's just like, come on, man. You're killing me. But I know a third underrated film, I'm cheating, is Parenthood. I think that movie is great. And even though he's an ensemble part of it, he's great in that movie. And you almost don't like him at first, but then all of a sudden you really start to love him. So that's incredible to me. So I cheated big time, but there you go, Brandon.
Have you guys seen Hardball?
Oh, Hardball too, dude. That's how Hardball is the baseball when he has to coach the team, right? That's how I discovered the Notorious B.I.G.
Yeah.
I love it when you call me Big Pop.
Yeah, it's a great
Brandon.
It's a great movie,
dude,
man.
I haven't seen it, no.
I don't know if you're like this with Cruise, where you prefer like you sounded like you're kind of like me, where you kind of prefer more of Tom Cruise's acting as opposed
Yeah.
to his action stuff.
Correct.
I think Reeves, maybe not so much for me. I may like a little bit more of Reeves' action stuff, but I still think his drama is just as good. And I think Hardball is probably the biggest example of just him doing a really good movie.
I tell people it's like Mighty Ducks, but kind of more adultish.
Yeah.
Mm.
It's like more of an urban type movie. It's really good. Really good.
Mm-hmm.
And The Replacements is the football movie, right?
Hysterical.
Yeah. I might
Didn't
have
one of them
seen
put
that.
super glue on his hands to catch the ball in The Replacements? Tell me I'm
That's in well, I don't know. I can't remember The Replacements, but it's in
that was in Little Giants.
Little Giants where it's like stuck to his,
Okay, maybe I'm just thinking,
Yeah.
dude. I just remember The Replacements was great because there was an NFL strike or whatever. So literally, he's
The
like a
boogeyman.
he's like a fisherman in that movie or
Yeah,
something,
yeah.
right? And then he's like, "Oh, I guess we're gonna play pro ball again." Great movie.
Uh-huh.
Love The Replacements. Brandon, you get to take us home, dude. We're about to be at 3 hours. We still have over 100 people in here watching. People are talking about Knock Knock, Brandon. Have you guys seen Knock? Before we get to your list, Brandon, I like Knock Knock, but then
So
again,
do
I feel like I'm embarrassed to say that because the people that hate it laugh at how much they think it's a bad movie. So I kind of keep my mouth shut on Knock Knock. I mean, how do you guys? Cody, how do you feel? Are you a fan of it or?
I am a fan of it. Yeah,
See,
and I love the whole. It was free pizza.
It was free pizza, damn it!
It was free fucking pizza.
Yeah.
Man. I like that movie a lot. I was watching it with a friend of mine, and he was like had anxiety. So like I think if you've cheated on someone, it kind of gives you anxiety. But if you haven't, then you'll probably enjoy it. I don't know.
There you go, Brandon. Brandon, take us home, dude. I know what your favorite's gonna be.
The favorite's going to be Point Break.
Bastard.
You knew it was going to be.
Bastard.
The most slept on Reeves movie is a tie between two movies, which would be Constantine and Devil's Advocate. Be a tie between those.
Oh, Devil's Advocate.
Yeah, and the worst would be Street Kings.
I haven't seen that.
That movie is so hard to get through. It's just absolutely boring.
Brandon,
I saw it in theaters and liked it, but I haven't seen it since.
Yeah, I just couldn't stand it. And I get the Dracula argument because of the accent, but like that movie's so enjoyable, it just picks it up out of the fire for me.
Well, I have more complaints about Dracula than that, to be honest with you. Like the movie's I'll just say it really quick. The movie is such this serious, intense movie, but then when Lecter shows up in the movie, Anthony Hopkins.
As Van Helsing.
And as Van Helsing, and he's silly. It just was just like, no, come on. Like, I wanted you to be like this revenant, intense guy. But then he's like making jokes the whole time in the movie. I would have changed. Who am I to say that Francis Ford Coppola is wrong? But there's
every
small
effect in
things about that
done
movie.
optically.
Yeah, and you want to know something else that's even cooler, Brandon? There's a full moon movie called Meridian that Charlie Band did. And Stan Winston worked on Dracula, right?
I'm not really sure who did the effects, but I know there was no digital anything in that movie. It was all optical. Let me see.
It's either Stan Winston or Rick Baker.
I think it's
I feel like it was Rick Baker. Rick Baker, excuse me. Let me see here. Come on, asshole, give me the facts. Who did the special?
Watch, it's gonna be
1993.
I'm pretty sure it was Stan Winston.
It says Greg Canham did the special effects. Canham, whoever I don't know that name. Greg Canham.
Did he work for the Winston School? All I know is this.
He did Lost Boys too.
I read
Nightmare 3.
I read. Have a good night, Jay. Good to see you, brother. I read Charles Band's book, and I think that name's actually ringing a bell. I think he worked for Stan Winston, that guy that's your name. He was doing a movie called Meridian, and it's kind of like this like hypersexual, fiendish movie about like a Beauty and the Beast type, where like this monstrous like wolf thing is in the movie. If you check out Meridian, Brandon, you remember when Dracula turns into that giant
bat thing?
Yeah. Hold on. Let me just grab this really quick.
Yeah. I do want to say I agree with Justin Smith. Bill and Ted's Bogus Journey with the Easter Bunny scared me so much when I was a kid.
Yeah. Do you like Excellent Adventure or Bogus Journey more?
So I I've seen Excellent. I love both of them, and I love the first one, but I've seen the first one just so much lately that I'm like I really want to watch Bogus Journey again. But that one's like hardly because I watch it when it comes on TV, and Excellent Journey is always on, or Excellent Journey.
Excellent Adventure.
Excellent Adventure is always on. So I've seen that like 100 times in the last 3 years.
Bogus Journey is insane. I haven't seen the third one yet. Still,
yeah. So really quick. So Meridian came out in the early 90s. This is the suit with a little bit of face alterations. You can tell more so right here in the back. That is the exact Dracula suit with some face alterations done. Yeah. So Charles Band could use it for his movie. And he talked about that. Like, that's how he had connections. That's why he was able to make movies cheaper than everybody else, because he worked with everybody before they blew up. He worked with Demi Moore. He worked with Bill Maher. He worked like everybody. He worked with, so he had all these connections. So he was able to keep his production costs so low. But yeah, you could tell like that's the Dracula suit, but he furred it up and they just changed the face a little bit. So that's that blew my mind when I read about that.
Oh, wow.
You know. So anyway, guys, listen, I want to thank everybody. We still 106 people in here still, guys. If you don't mind dropping a like, please do. Of course, check out the Rad Pack podcast show. They created this. Check out Cody's channel, because Cody did a video on his too. And if you're a YouTuber, if I did it, you may as well just fucking do it at this point. I mean, I never hop on these things. And Brandon, they tried to get him to do a YouTuber thing a while back, and he's like, I don't want to do it. I ain't got time to do it.
Yeah. And I wasn't trying to be a dickhead either. I was just like, I'm too lazy to even try to do that. That was my reasoning. It wasn't like I'm too cool for school. I'm just like, I can't commit to that shit. I was too new and I wasn't doing YouTube consistently. So,
and guys, I think 4 away from 400 subscribers. So I'd love to hit 400 subscribers.
Hold on. Let me put your link in. We're going to get it for you literally right now. Hold on. Before we get off the air.
And I just released a video this morning on Dylan's New Nightmare. It's a fan-made movie. I was at the world premiere, so I did a spoiler-free review. If you guys want to check that out, if anybody's interested in that.
All right, guys, right now, click that link I just posted. Before we end, I'm gonna make sure you get it.
My fiance just followed you, Cody, this morning. So,
right, thank you. I appreciate that.
397. 403! 403! You're at
400. That's it.
Wow, nice.
403!
Thank you, guys.
Hell yeah.
That's excellent. Hell yeah.
But guys, seriously, I wouldn't just do that for anybody, to be honest with you. I actually love Cody's videos, and you should check out his taste test video. Look at that, dude. They're coming in right now. His taste test video on those spreads. Yeah, like it was from Nutty and Nostalgic. Dude, that video did good on your channel too. It's got 700 views. Dude, and they saw it and they sent me more stuff. And I know, and you didn't do a video on the follow-up stuff. I know. Dude. Well, because to me, I was like, is it too soon to do another Brett, video? Cody, this is how you not get more stuff sent to you. you have to do the video when they send you stuff, brother. I'm so new to this, man. I almost did a short, but then I was like, I don't know how to fucking do a short, so I didn't. So, but I ate the shit out of the. They sent me one. It was like chocolate peanut butter. It was like supposed to be like a Girl Scout cookie, kind of like. Dude, it was so good. 411. 411. Wow, thank you guys. It is incredible. I appreciate it. They'll all unsub after they see my next video, probably. They're not gonna unsub. Thank you guys. Thank you. This has to be the best Rad 9 and Planet. There's no way it was the best Rad 9. I appreciate that, Witch Hunter, but it was a fun Planet Dirty episode. So just to give a little bit of context before we wrap up, guys, we're 2 minutes from 3 hours. That's my cutoff. My wife was out of town this weekend. She was in Michigan, so that's why I'm streaming all weekend. Brandon was down and ready to clown. We've done some fun stuff. I want to come up with some really great concepts next. I'm also going to be planning the next Breaking Bread show. And I think everybody's in agreement that I've kind of talked about it. We want it to be a pizza thing. Yes. And I actually don't want it to be, I think Cody would agree with this. I don't want it to be brand specific. I want you to get the pizza you want to get. Your favorite pizza. So that way Brandon can get this goddamn hamster jam pizza, whatever the hell it's called. Pepperoni with extra pineapple, extra sauce, and garlic herb crust. That's and extra all I want.
I go Cajun crust there, man.
Cajun's fucking fire too, though, man.
Brandon, you strike me as the kind of guy that says I'll have extra large peach, blah blah blah, with an extra Coke, or just like extra size Coke or whatever.
That's me.
Brandon should be there in person. Do you mean like he should be at Hungry Howie's?
Dude, I'll stream right from the fucking joint. That would be awesome, actually.
Actually,
Maybe
Brandon,
he wants you guys to stream together in the same location.
Oh, that's a pretty far drive, man.
yeah. Well, I don't know. If me and Nick can get together for
Say what?
Kentucky,
You're probably like 11 hours away, Louisiana. Yeah, I mean it's possible. Shit.
but anyway, I'm gonna plant 412. 412. We're gonna plan that soon. Me and Brandon will have some shows coming up soon. We're gonna make I think we want to try doing some kind of video game thing down the road.
Yeah, I think I might have figured out a problem too of how we can both stream from an emulator. So
Okay.
that would be fucking sick if we can.
And if you wanted to, like Dead Pit and Garrett do this, we could figure out a way for it to premiere, like be live on both of our channels too, since we're both actually playing the game.
that would be dope.
You want to do something like that?
Yeah, we could try. I still don't understand how it's going to work, but I think we can figure out how to make it work.
We'll figure it out. But yeah, this was awesome, Cody. Thanks for hopping on, man. I appreciate
thanks.
you always being.
Thanks for the invite. Sorry,
So,
I hit my mic.
Dude, I was always wondering because, like, I was listening back to the Cosmic Brownie show this morning when I was going to Best Buy, and when I listened to your audio, I'm like, for just seeing Cody, I was like, his audio is pretty clean, and I was like, I wonder if he's using a microphone. So what kind of mic do you have? I'm a mic junkie, so I'm just curious.
It was like a $7. Sorry, you gotta listen to me. It's like a $70 mic, but I got it on like a Black Friday deal for like $30.
Wow,
Dude, it's a good. Is that a what brand is that?
it looks like a Yeti, but
No, it's
No.
not. Is that a Behringer or a? He's got the box, Brandon. Insignia. You got that from Best Buy.
Yeah.
I almost got that back in the day, but then I ended up getting a Yeti. But I'm also a musician and stuff, and I record music. So this is Michael Jackson used this microphone for Thriller, and if it's good enough for Michael Jackson, a lot of people use the Shure. Pizzile used it. It's just a clean, solid mic. And I figured I have this mic. I need to start using it more often for everything. It was an expensive mic, so that's why I'm setting it back up to use it on my live shows. I just didn't want something in front of me because I can't see my computer, so I got it. I'm pretty set up. I'm assuming everything's good. I haven't really changed my settings that much. I'm assuming my audio has been really good tonight. But
Yeah, it's been good. But like me, I have mine like it's down here, so I know sometimes I sound a lot lower because it's.
But hey, do you have? Is it like a desk in front of you, and you got your left? You need to get you a boom mic. Let me see something about your mic real quick. Do you have the 3/8 at the bottom of it? No, not the stand. Like, oh, it doesn't. That's interesting. Yeah,
But this is like I said, this is like a cheap mic, and I wanted something last minute and didn't really know what I was doing, and I just grabbed this one.
Yeah,
and it's worked fine for me.
No, you sound great. Everything's great, and you see how Brandon's got the Yeti, the perfect width from him and stuff like that. Yeah. I'm sorry, the audience is like, I don't give a fuck about this. Listen, thank you guys. Thank you guys for supporting these shows. I mean, the viewership has been. I'm humbled by it, quite frankly. It's just sensational. These live shows, they've been incredible. I'm floored, and I'm blessed, and I'm grateful that I am able to talk about movies that I love that don't have to do with horror. Like I'm telling you guys, I was this close to stopping a few years ago. I really can't stress that. And to be here now with these cool guys and talking about Bill Murray and Chevy, it really, I'm eternally grateful to my audience. So thank you guys so much. And Brandon, thank you for being game to just work all weekend with me, man, and stream.
Yes, sir.
Go to Tabata Vision, people. Please go to Tabata Vision. Brandon, you're close to 3,000.
I'm getting there. I'm getting there. Yeah. Slowly but surely. It's getting there.
So we got the dude over to 400 now. We can get Brandon to 3K. Brandon's about to make some badass videos.
Yeah.
No more cat shorts.
Yeah.
Actually, the cat shorts are cool. I like them.
I got a major cat short coming up. It's going to be wild. So
and listen, guys, you guys have asked about it enough. These are going up on Spotify. We already have some up on Spotify. So go to Spotify and type in Planet Dirty Podcast. Thank you guys. I love you. and we'll see you down the road.